Chapter 2495, Breaking the Array, Grand Mist Array, Open. Chapter 2495, Breaking the Array, Grand Mist Array, Open. Half of the demon pagodas became brightly lit, just like exquisite. Lights were on, but to the magic tribe in the plaza, it was incomparably dazzling. The light rays pierced into their hearts, making them unable to breathe and making them feel incomparable discomfort. They couldn't figure it out. Why couldn't he stop a human brat? Was an arrogant form state so strong? 5 floors of demon towers, 5 different tests, 5 Master S, all of them with Peak Realm S. But one by one, they were defeated. The most important thing was the 5 Master S acted as if they did not know their own shame. Each of them had faces of excitement, laughter, and complacency, as if they had just broken through. Ha ha! Old devil, is my master powerful? The purple-clothed old man had a complacent expression. The old devil was stunned for a moment. The violet-clothed elder said proudly, "I've taken him as my master." The old demon's first reaction was, "Damn, how come I didn't think of taking him as my master?" The purple-clothed elder said to everyone that Long Fei was his master. The 5 Master S all knew about it. Who knew what Long Fei would think after knowing? The firearms demon said, "Don't speak, we've reached the 6th floor." The 5 Master S looked towards the 6th floor at the same time. The purple-clothed old man also tightened his brow, clenching his fists secretly. He couldn't help but become nervous. 6th level. It should be that old pervert from Clan of Suppressed Devil, right? The Scarlet Fire Demon said his cultivation, but the Zhenwu realm. And I heard that he was able to integrate his own cultivation into the array formation to create a formation that not even the Zhenwu realm S or Powerhouse S could break through. This time, Zhang Xian frowned. The 5 of them were all under Long Fei's guidance, and it could be said that the level that the 5 of them had grasped had improved entirely. They did not want to see Long Fei die inside. However, it's not up to them. After entering the demon tower, there was no path of retreat. Either open up a 10-story devil tower, or died in there. 6th floor. The Clan of Suppressed Devil, S of the Clan of Suppressed Devil, were in charge. The formation was abnormally powerful, and it was stronger than the 5 of them. The purple-clothed elderly man said solemnly, "If that old pervert dares to touch my master, I swear that I will never provide the Clan of Suppressed Devil with even half a magic pill. I won't forge artifacts for them either. Don't even think about getting half a puppet warrior. A war beast? They can forget about it." They all acted as if they had enmity with the magic tribe. They only cared about Long Fei. This was related to the magic tribe's faith. They believed in absolute power, which was why they worshipped Long Fei like this. To them, Long Fei was absolute power, absolute powerful realm. The 6th level. This level should be guarded by Clan of Suppressed Devil S, right? Clan of Suppressed Devil's master is the Zhenwu realm. This time, is that human brat still alive? I heard that the Clan of Suppressed Devil's demon suppressing boundary was broken by that brat in a second. This ancestor of Suppressed Devil's words. Not waiting for him to finish, the demon suppressor took a step forward and viciously slapped him with his palm. With a heavy sound, he said, "How could my Clan of Suppressed Devil's master think that they're useless like this? Just watch. That kid must die." Demon-suppressing Orb's eyes turned sinister as an abnormally powerful aura burst forth from his body. He said in a deep voice, "Kid, if you don't die, I'll give you my end." He knew the power of the master. He firmly believed in this. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil will definitely be able to kill Long Fei. Sixth floor. Long Fei stepped forward. Secret World was stunned for a moment. Buzz. With an explosive sound, Long Fei instantly felt himself falling into a huge killing array as countless powerful energies surged into his mind. Boom! The power of an incomparably powerful Zhen Wu realm instantly crushed down. Long Fei tensed up, his left arm moved, summoning his Ju Kei sword. The heavenly fire burned, blocking the attack. Bam! Bang! Bang! Long Fei's left arm went numb, and his body retreated continuously with explosive speed. All his internal organs rolled around below his chest, and the pungent smell of blood gushed out. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei's face paled slightly as he looked around, his heart sinking. A formation? That's right. This is the 6th level secret world, the Array world. A deep voice resounded in the air. He could only hear the sound, but he could not see the person. Long Fei wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "Formation world, then if I break the formation, I can clear it, right?" "That's right. However, if you want to break through this formation, kid, even if you die, you won't be able to." Ha ha ha. He started to laugh maniacally. Long Fei moved, wanting to check the sides of the array, but she couldn't. This array has no edges at all, and you can't even sense its existence. There was no formation aperture, no boundary. The entire 6th floor was an array formation. The array formation was the Demon Tower. Not only that, this formation wasn't a formation that trapped a person, but a massive killing formation that could be felt from just now. And the power in this formation was Zhen Wu realm, the power realm that the arrogant form state could not match against. How could he break it? Long Fei's heart tightened. "Kid, kill my people, break my demon-suppressing boundary. I don't care how you clear the first 5 floors, but here, you definitely can't get through it," the ancestor of suppressed devil said, fiercely. At the same time, his aura moved. Move. Rumble. 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 An explosion sounded in the air, and without giving Long Fei time to react, waves after waves of the power of the true martial arts came crushing down. Long Fei didn't even have time to think about how to break the formation, and kept on dodging. Bam! Another wave of Zhen Wu force knocked him away, and he spat out another mouthful of blood. Ha ha ha! Just suffer. I will kill you slowly. The ancestor of suppressed devil laughed out loud. He didn't give Long Fei the chance to see him set up the array at all. Such a competition, he was suspected of cheating. However, he was the tower master of the 6th floor, and everything here was up to him. He would never allow a human to pass the trial. Long Fei hid, and hid everywhere. A burst of anger surging through his heart, but he did not stop his idea as from searching. 10,000 array formations can be seen. Ancient array formations definitely can't be wrong. All array formations have an eye. As long as we find the eye of the array, there will be a method to break it. Formation aperture. Formation aperture. Rumble. Rumble. Crazy crushing. Long Fei was in a difficult position to look at it. Ancestor of suppressed devil sneered. "Brat, arrogant people need capital. You want to challenge my magic tribe's 10-story devil tower? Humph, you overestimate yourself." Seeing that Long Fei was too tired to dodge and couldn't even break the array, he couldn't help but feel proud. It's that again. Long Fei was unhappy. He was extremely unhappy. Arrogant, you need capital, right? Then Lousy will show you what capital is. He was furious. Long Fei was enraged. If he couldn't find the crux of the formation, couldn't break it, then break the array with the array. Long Fei angrily rushed out and directly took out a grand mist crystal from the space ring. With both hands in formation, the power of several formation runes on his body explosively shot out. You need the capital, right? I'll let you see what my capital is. Grand Mist Formation. Open. The 5th chapter. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 2496. Lousy's Time. Chapter 2496. Lousy's time if he couldn't find the formation aperture. He wouldn't be able to break through. All 10,000 formations had their eyes fixed upon them. If he wanted to break through the array, he could only think of a way, but right now, Longface simply did not have the time to do so, and he was too lazy to do so, because being hit by the power of the Zhenwu realm in the array made him very unhappy. So, he was furious. Array essence? Break the formation? Go to hell. Longface secretly cursed, his hands frantically forming a seal, releasing engraving formation. It was also at this time the energy source of the array formation, the Grand Mist Crystal, also began to emit a thick power. Assemble the formation? Forming a formation in my array. Humph. Kid, you're too arrogant. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil was very unhappy. Forming a formation in front of him was a humiliation to him, and even more so a contempt for him. How could he endure this kind of anger? Immediately, the aura from Ancestor of Suppressed Devil's body exploded out as he shouted, "Kid, tremble! Rumble!" A loud explosion resounded. Suddenly, a few gigantic demon phantoms appeared within the huge array. With divine weapons in their hands, they slashed towards Longface's head as if they were cutting through the sky. Every single aura was of the Zhenwu realm. Power surged with a crazed roar. Longface's long hair flew in disorder, and the clothes on his body exploded outwards. In the face of such powerful strength, the center of Longface's brows tightened. His heart was incomparably calm. His hands were still frantically forming seals, and the idea was also unceasingly releasing its formation source. Boom, boom, rumble, die. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil roared. The 4 fiendish demons in the sky rumbled down. Longface slightly raised both his eyes. His right hand turned into a palm, heavily smashing into the ground. He roared out, "Grand Mist Formation, open for me." Buzz. A beam of light burst out from the ground. As if countless bolts of lightning had explosively shot out from the ground, the scene with Longface at the center was incomparably shocking. At this moment, the halo of light was like a magic shield that enveloped Longface and charged straight into the net. They had to resist the power of the 4 great demons. Rumble! 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 A huge explosion shook the sky. If Longface did not hold on, his little life would have been gone. Longface's heart trembled. The Grand Mist Crystal in his hand fell again. Boom! The incomparably powerful energy within the Grand Mist Crystal began to erupt outwards, causing the light energy around his body to erupt once more. A beam of light shot out. Buzz. It expanded like a bubble. The power of the 4 great fiendish demons was being suppressed. The power of the entire formation was being squeezed. In the middle of the formation, attack with a formation. Longface's eyes flashed. He stared at one place and said, "You think you can be so arrogant? Do I have enough capital now?" Huh. A roar. Longface's eyes turned sinister, and the powerful formation once again shook violently. At the same time, it was also spreading out. Crack, crack. Countless sounds of ice shattering came from all directions. This was the power of the formation breaking apart. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil was extremely shocked in his heart. He had never thought of such a method to break through the array and condense a higher-level array inside it. However, he hadn't given up yet. Who is he? Of the clan of Suppressed Devil. Magic Tribe's array formation. Powerhouse. His right hand moved. A huge glass sphere. Ancestor of suppressed devil muttered to himself. He tightened his eyebrows and said, "You don't have enough capital, so, kid, just lie still." The crystal ball floated in the air. Suddenly, it came crashing down. It landed on the formation. Ancestor of suppressed devil also laughed coldly in satisfaction. "Breaking the array with the array? I have to say you are very smart. Your array formation is also very clever, but you are too arrogant. You don't even know what a formation is. So, die. Ha ha ha." Ancestor of suppressed devil laughed out wildly. When the crystal ball fell, its power was like a fuse as it instantly ignited the entire formation. In that instant, a violent explosion sounded from within the formation. Rumble! 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 Explosion! The same. It was not only his own array, but long phase as well. This was the fatal weakness of an array being broken, and the moment the array formation outside started to fluctuate violently, the array formation inside would also be affected. Furthermore, the array formation that Long Fei released was constantly expanding, almost touching the ancestor of suppressed devil's array formation. Just like two bubbles. If one was attacked by a powerful external force, both bubbles would explode. And at that time, anyone in a bubble will die. It vanished like smoke in thin air. Long Fei did not expect the ancestor of suppressed devil to know this either. However, Long Fei smirked and said coldly, "You're really thinking too much. Do you think that my formation is like yours? You overestimate yourself." He wasn't worried at all. Moreover, Long Fei's array formation was still constantly pressing down and expanding, facing the ancestor of suppressed devil's exploding array. He did not avoid it all, just like Long Fei, who did not cower, but chose to clash with you. Boom, boom, boom. It exploded in all directions, but only the ancestor of suppressed devil's array was cracking open. Long Fei was not affected by the array at all. He was completely protected by the array. Half a minute later, the power of the ancestor of suppressed devil's array had completely disappeared. He was stunned on the spot. His eyes stared straight at Long Fei and said, "Impossible! What cultivation realm are you in? How long have you been cultivating this formation? The array that I have refined is more than 10,000 times what you have seen. It is impossible for you to refine such a powerful array in such a short amount of time." He just couldn't believe it. The instant the power of the ancestor of suppressed devil's formation completely disappeared, the formation on Long Fei's body also disappeared. Break the array with the array. You disappear, I vanish. There's no other power. It's just simply breaking your array. Long Fei looked at the nearby ancestor of suppressed devil and said coldly, "Do you have enough capital?" He. Ancestor of suppressed devil clenched his fists, causing a cracking sound to appear. His eyes turned sinister as he stared at Long Fei. "Brat, you are too arrogant." "Arrogant? Ha ha! You haven't seen anyone more arrogant than me. Today, your father will let you experience it." As soon as he finished, Long Fei took out another grand mist crystal and released the engraving formation from the corner of his mouth. "Just now, you used a formation to trap me. Now it's my turn. Heaven and Earth Samsara formation. Open." With a sound, Long Fei instantly condensed an array with shocking speed. Moreover, without giving ancestor of suppressed devil time to react, he directly released the formation and also enveloped the ancestor of suppressed devil within the formation in an instant. Buzz! Buzz! Explosions rang out one after another. The ancestor of suppressed devil in the formation array was charred black by a few lightning strikes, looking extremely miserable. However, this was just the beginning. Chapter 2497, Playing You Can't Take Care of Yourself. Chapter 2497. Playing You Can't Take Care of Yourself was very unhappy that he was suppressed by the power of the Zhenwu realm. Now, he also wanted to let Ancestor of Suppressed Devil have a taste of being crushed by a formation. The array wasn't that big. It was only the size of a room, but there was a lightning chain in the air above the array formation that kept chopping down without giving you any time to react. Boom. Although his strength is not as strong as the Zhenwu realm, but Ancestor of Suppressed Devil was only a person who cultivated in the way of arrays. It was true that his cultivation was Zhenwu realm, but his physical body was far inferior to a real Zhenwu realm powerhouse. He was only strong in formations. Once he lost the array, his cultivation would at most be at Mahayana realm. It was the same meaning as a mage. With Lan, you can be fearless and unleash all sorts of forbidden moves, but once you run out of mana, you're a lamb. Prepare to be slaughtered. This was the case for the current Ancestor of Suppressed Devil. His hair was disheveled, and his face was charred black. All of his clothes were tattered like a beggar's. Hair in your mouth. Arrogance requires capital. Does Lousy have enough? If not for the fact that killing people would cause adverse reactions to the mission, Long Fei would really want to kill him. No one on the first 5 floors killed anyone. It was admiration. So they passed all the way through, and they even had special rewards. This clan of Suppressed Devil used the power of the Zhenwu realm to attack him from the very beginning. Based on Long Fei's temper outside, even if he had the slightest chance, he would have already died 10,000 times. 10 minutes later, the strength of the formation weakened. Long Fei retracted his right hand, and the formation disappeared. Looking at the Ancestor of Suppressed Devil, who had turned into an African, he asked, "Is this great?" Black smoke came out of Ancestor of Suppressed Devil's mouth as he panted heavily and said, "Brat, I want to kill," not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei slightly moved and said, "SH*T, you really don't care about giving me face, right? Since you're unhappy, then I shall let you have your fill. Xian Ice Array. Open." In that instant, another formation was released. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil's eyes stared wide open as he was unable to react at all. He began to tremble in fear. Ah. 10 minutes later, Long Fei asked again, "Is that good?" Ancestor of Suppressed Devil trembled as he glared at Long Fei. Long Fei smirked and laughed. "Seems like you are not satisfied yet." Then, another formation was released. Is it good?" Long Fei said. "You're not talking? That's displeasure?" Again, he continued to unleash various formations. A good master was in chaos. In the end, like an old man who had suffered a stroke, with his head at the side, legs crippled, fingers twitching, and the corners of his mouth dripping with saliva. He was as embarrassed as he could be. "Is it good now?" "What? Still unhappy?" Long Fei said, loudly. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil nodded his head, afraid that Long Fei would release another array. Moreover, without waiting for Long Fei to release the formation, he tumbled and crawled out, directly rushing to the stairs. And then he immediately rolled down. He would never see Long Fei again in his life. Too terrifying. He wanted to die several times. Completely ravaged, his array formation was like a 3-year-old child, and a giant compared to Long Fei's. It was of a completely different level. If he didn't leave now, he would really die here. Long Fei watched him as he rolled down, and said with a grin, "Capital? Isn't it thick enough?" It was also at this time. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the 10-story Devil Tower 6th floor. Reward, level +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Arrogant Form level 8. One more level. Long Fei could feel the strength of his body becoming stronger and the attributes of his entire body recovering in an instant. This feeling, too comfortable. At the same time, the sixth floor became brightly lit. Ha ha ha. He cleared the level. Did you see that my master had passed the trial? Even the old monsters of Clan of Suppressed Devil could not stop it. Ha ha ha. Like I said, my master is the most awesome in the world. The purple-robed elder laughed loudly, as if he was afraid that no one else would know that Long Fei was his master. This caused many disciples of Magic Tribe to be dissatisfied. However, he completely ignored these disciples of Magic Tribe S. The artifact demon said slightly, truly powerful. Demon Patriarch Xie is a Zhen Wu realm cultivator, and even infused the power of his Zhen Wu into the formation, but he still cleared the formation. Genius. No, using the word genius to describe him would only be an insult. Monster. Right, he's a monster. There has never been a person throughout the entire history of the Zhen Wu continent. There had never been a person who had achieved such a level. Puppets, alchemy, artifact forging, formations, talismans, beast taming. All of them are divine-level experts. Who can do it? Too strong. The 5 Master S said. All of them revealed looks of extreme shock. No matter how great a person's talent or potential, even if he could master all the supporting skills, but all of these skills required time to accumulate. He needed time to train. The 6 big techniques could not be reached even after cultivating to the divine level for 10,000 years, but Long Fei was not even 20 years of age. If he wasn't a monster, then what was he? A perverted monster. They were also people who had lived for a few hundred years. Other than the previous demon emperor, it was Long Fei who had made them burn with excitement. Long Fei made them even more excited than the demon emperor. Unimaginable excitement. At this moment, a wretched figure tumbled down the steps of the demon tower. It's the ancestor of Suppressed Devil. How did he become like this? He's also a powerhouse of the Zhen Wu realm. Why does it feel like I've suffered a stroke? What happened inside? Who the hell is that kid? Ancestor of Suppressed Devil rolled out from the demon tower and finally let out a long breath. His life could be considered as saved, but he turned his head to look at the pagoda, and his expression immediately changed. He quickly ran out. It was as if he had seen a ghost. They frantically fled. Demon-suppressing eyes turned sinister as he quickly flew up. Master! Master! However, the ancestor of Suppressed Devil did not care about him at all. Escaping the magic mountain in the blink of an eye, his entire body disappeared, never to appear again. Never see Long Fei again. Long Fei was his nightmare. Only the clan of Suppressed Devil disciples were left behind to chase after him. The entire audience was dumbfounded. A of the Zhen Wu realm had now become a lunatic. This brat, too deadly. Chapter 2498, Magic Tower Mutation, Double Difficulty. Chapter 2498, Magic Tower Mutation. Double difficulty, the entire audience was in an uproar. Ancestor of Suppressed Devil's madness caused everyone's heart to tremble. Everyone was curious about what had happened in the demon pagoda. At the same time, everyone was reconsidering Long Fei's strength. What kind of person was he? However, there was one person who was enraged. Anger. The anger in his body was like a volcano erupting, and he was unable to suppress it at all. Suppressing the demons. Demon-suppressing Orb stood still, his hands clenched into fists. His eyes turned vicious. His eyes were bloodshot as he said in a deep voice, "I don't believe it! I don't believe it! A mere human brat can pass 6 trials. All of you are a bunch of trash." He was enraged. infuriated to the point of going berserk. Then, he strode towards the demon pagoda. Disciples of magic tribe around the plaza was startled. What does he want to do? Is he going to enter the tower? Demon-suppressing elder, are you crazy? He did not believe that Long Fei was that strong. You can't kill him. I'll do it. Boom. Stepping into the pagoda, immediately the entire pagoda began to tremble. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The 10-story Devil Tower was trembling. The entire Magic Mountain was also trembling. The square was shaking. It was like an earthquake. The entire audience was in a state of panic. The brows of the 5 Master S tightened as they shouted at the demon suppression. Come back! Come back! Come back for me! Demon suppression stood at the entrance of the demon tower and fiercely said, Dog, I'm going to take your life. He took a step inside. Buzz. The door of the pagoda suddenly closed. The tremors became more and more intense. The purple-clothed old man's face sank. This is bad. This is bad. 2 people enter the demonic tower. This. The faces of the 5 Master S became uglier and uglier because they knew the rules of the demon pagoda, and they were the only ones who knew the rules. Only one person at a time could take the test. If someone forced their way in before the test ended, it would lead to a very serious result. The difficulty of the test increased by 2-fold. This also meant that Long Fei would face 2 times the strength of the remaining 4 floors. Boom. The purple-clothed old man landed in front of the pagoda and shouted at it, Demon Suppressor, come out! And then the 4 Great Master S all descended. However, the demon-suppressing orb was already inside the secret world and could not be heard from outside. Sigh. This is bad. The purple-robed elder's eyes turned savage. Damn it! At this moment, a voice came from the plaza. Quick, look! The top 4 levels of the pagoda have changed. Red. A blood-red color. The 4th floor of the demon tower originally had no color, but now it shines with a blood-red light. This, what is going on? Did the demon pagoda's trial increase the difficulty? Ha ha ha. This way, that kid will definitely die inside. It has never appeared before. The master's power in the last 4 floors of the demon pagoda is Zhenwu realm. Could it be that their power will increase as well? Or is it that some sort of change is happening? This is going to be fun. Kid, let's see how long you can remain arrogant for. The 5 Great Master also rose into the air. Seeing the scarlet light that flashed on the 4th floor of the pagoda, their eyes all darkened. The purple-clothed old man's eyes became even more devoid of light. It's over. My master is going to die. He held incomparable confidence in Long Fei. He thought that Long Fei was an invincible existence in the universe. But at this moment, his heart sank. It's over. No matter how strong they were, they wouldn't be able to pass now. The master on the 4th floor were already extremely powerful to begin with, and no one knew what the test was. Now that the difficulty had been doubled, there was even less hope. Also, they, the 5 Master S, all knew in their hearts that they were only the tower guard that was in charge of overseeing the demon pagoda, but they had never heard of such a thing. The demon pagoda itself possessed incomparable strength. Once this power was released, no one could stop him, let alone the magic tribe. Even if it was the entire Zhenwu continent, no one would be able to stop him. The blood-red tower, you could see, the demon tower was enraged because someone broke the rules, and the 2 of them entered the demon pagoda. Whoosh! Kai Lina landed heavily, his eyebrows knitted together, and said, Not good. Someone has rushed into the demon pagoda, and the demon pagoda has undergone a change. The red light of light has already flickered on the fourth floor above. What kind of sign is this? Princess Sandmoon's gaze tensed up as he said, "Double difficulty." And the power of the pagoda has started to circulate, and Long Fei will be facing not only the tower guard, but also the power of the pagoda itself. I've heard my father say before, the strongest thing in the magic tribe is not some holy artifact, nor is it our Sand Moon tribe's heavenly fire, but the 10-story devil tower that is hidden within the magic mountain's body. It is incomparably powerful, and once it releases its power, no one can resist it. At this moment, Transformers had already run towards the summit of Magic Mountain. Kai Lina shouted loudly, "What are you trying to do?" Transformers said, "Save boss." Kai Lina also soared into the sky, directly rushing towards the peak of the Magic Mountain. Princess Sandmoon clasped his hands together, looked at the sky, and said, "Lord Demon God, please bless him. I am willing to give up everything." As he spoke, Princess Sandmoon kneeled on the ground devoutly. The operation of the demon towers was unstoppable. Long Fei was unable to retreat and could only move forward. They wouldn't rest until they were dead. There was no end to it. Long Fei was completely unaware of what was happening outside, but he was not in a hurry to reach the 7th floor, nor was he confident about the 4th floor, because all the supporting skills had been passed. What was the next test? Compete in martial arts? If it was a warrior from the Zhenwu realm, then he still wouldn't have the slightest chance. The real martial arts training powerhouse was much stronger than him. His combat ability was completely overwhelming. He wanted to win. Difficult. It was too difficult. However, Long Fei did not want to leave. Since he had come, he would fight to the end. Just as he was about to step onto the 7th floor, after some slight adjustments, the system suddenly sounded out. Long Fei was startled. Could it be that they triggered another reward? Perfect. I only lack a powerful Dharma treasure. System, just give me one more sword attack, and I'll kill you. Long Fei was elated. The notification sound must be a reward. Ding. System prompt. Can it be that you have a quest? What? Is the mission multiplied by 2? What the F***K does that mean? Long Fei couldn't react for a while. At this moment, the system sounded out yet again. Ding. System notification. The 10-story Devil Towers test difficulty has been doubled. This time, Long Fei understood. The happiness in his heart suddenly increased, as if he had been struck by Huang Lian. He couldn't even say a single word, but he was completely stupefied. F***CK. System. Do you think Lousy has lived for too long and wants to kill me? If you want to kill me, then just say it. Come. It's fine if I die. Could it be that the quest has been doubled? It was originally an SSS level mission, but now it has been doubled to a 6S level mission. Do you F***King think this is an Apple phone? Long Fei was bitter. Chapter 2499, 7th level, Boundless. Chapter 2499, 7th level, Boundless difficulty doubled. His 3S suddenly soared to 6S. This was giving him no chance to survive. However, Long Fei suddenly thought of a problem. Double the difficulty. Then is the reward. Double. Instantly, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a light, and he became inexplicably excited. Double reward. First level of the level. 2 levels. F***CK. And then, Long Fei strode up to the 7th floor. The moment he stepped in, he suddenly heard a voice from below. I'm going to kill you. Then, when Long Fei stepped onto the 7th floor, his voice instantly disappeared. You're here. Boom. A voice exploded, causing Long Fei's eardrums to almost explode. His body sank, he found it hard to endure, and the secret world of the 7th floor was also different from the 6th floor. It was shrouded in a bloody mist. Even if Long Fei was at the 8th stage of the arrogant form, he could only see a few meters clearly. Long Fei calmed himself down and asked, "What's the test of the 7th floor?" The voice echoed from all directions. "The 7th floor is called the Boundless Tower. As long as you can get out of here, you can pass." His voice was still deep and deep, carrying an incomparably powerful aura that shook Long Fei's mind. His sea of consciousness was surging to the point that he almost couldn't endure it. Long Fei said, "It's that simple." Simple. Ha ha ha. This is the first time I've heard someone say the word simple here. The voice was filled with mad laughter as it said, "Kid, since it is so simple, you may begin." As soon as he finished, the voice suddenly disappeared, and the whole world suddenly quieted down. Long Fei swept his gaze across the place and sensed the presence of idea. "There's nothing here." The moment the voice disappeared, Long Fei's idea was released like lightning. However, after half a minute, it had reached the limit of the 8th stage of arrogant form. There was no trace of life within 10 kilometers. Moreover, Long Fei did not feel its edges. No matter how big the secret world is, it has edges. It's just like a plane, no matter how big it is. It has edges. If you want to walk out of here, you just have to find edges. Long Fei made up his mind. In an instant, the speed of an arrogant form of the 8th stage exploded forth. True essence was released. Boom. Long Fei quickly flew out, piercing through. They passed through again. Within a few minutes, according to his calculations, they should be hundreds of kilometers away. After releasing the idea, he wouldn't be able to sense the boundary and would then rush out. Another few minutes passed. No sense of boundaries. Long Fei frowned, looking around. It's all the same. Nothing has changed. Is it the same for the entire secret world, or am I going to stay put? Following that, Long Fei tried again. After half an hour, the true chi had been used up by 1,000,000 points, but he still could not feel the border point nor the aura within the secret world. Here, it was like an endless barren world. Other than the bloody mist that obstructed one's vision, there was nothing else. Huff. Long Fei exhaled slightly and said, "Seems like he is truly not simple." He stopped and did not try again. He knew that no matter how he walked, it was useless for him to fly. He would definitely not be able to leave this place. Just like its name, boundless. No boundaries. There was no way out. Long Fei sat cross-legged and quickly took out the materials from the space ring and quickly refined them. Ant army success. Done. One ant puppet after another was created. An hour later, a total of 2,000 ant puppets appeared. Long Fei moved and said, "Move out." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Swish, swish, swish. Long Fei planted his own chi on them. The moment he found anything, he would immediately sense it. Following that, Long Fei formed a seal with his hands. "Light array. Open for me." Boom. Long Fei moved, and the array flew into the air. A few seconds later, it landed on the ground and exploded on the ground, forming a blinding light that illuminated the entire area. After continuously releasing a few light formations, the surroundings started to look a little better. But outside the formation, there was still a thick mist of blood. After doing all this, Long Fei began to recover. The true chi value was recovering. At the same time, Long Fei was paying close attention to the army of ant puppets that he released. Another half an hour passed, and there still wasn't the slightest response. Boundless? Is there really no border? Or should I say, this is a huge formation, but I didn't sense the aura of the formation. Long Fei was puzzled. Just when he couldn't figure it out, all of a sudden, A violent vibration spread out, and the bloody mist became even more scarlet and dense, as if it had turned into a huge pool of blood. Long Fei stood up and looked at the moment blood mist fell onto his body. Ding! Health point, 50 points. Suddenly, a prompt sounded. Furthermore, it was the sound of the health point being reduced. Long Fei's mind was startled. Did you launch an attack? Ding! System notification. Health point, 50 points. Ding! System notification. Health point, 50 points. Ding! The system began beeping rapidly, almost every second. This speed, it was too fast. The spring of life also started to crazily restore Long Fei's health point, but it could only recover 20 health point per second, which meant that Long Fei could recover 30 health point per second. Is he going to lose blood until he dies? Long Fei secretly shivered in his heart. In the game, there were some very special spaces. If you entered this space, you would lose HP, and you would not be under any control, no matter how high your defense was or how much resistance you had. It was useless. It was like a program that allowed you to lose HP once you entered. In this special space, there was only one way, and that was to pass through as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he would lose blood and die. There was a map in the game, but Long Fei didn't have a map now, so he couldn't find the exit. If he didn't find the exit soon, he would die here. Exit! Exit! As Long Fei watched his HP rapidly drop, his heart became somewhat anxious. Where is he? Line of sight. I can't see it clearly. Suddenly, Long Fei's brows tightened as he looked at the thick blood mist. He muttered to himself, if this blood mist disappears, then our vision will be clear, and we will definitely discover the exit. Blood mist, water vapor. In that instant, Long Fei's mind moved. Boom! Sky fire shot out from the Ming clan's imprint space. Long Fei moved his index finger. Kacha! A flame was ignited, then activated it and roared out loudly. Big fire ring, burn for me, evaporate all the blood mist for me. Rumble! Flames shot to the sky. Advertisement, boom. Flames shot to the sky. In the plaza, the eyes of the 5 Master S suddenly tightened. Did you pass? No, he's fighting. The purple-clothed old man said, It's been over 2 hours. I wonder how my master is doing now. It's all the fault of that demon suppression kid. Is he worthy to be my master's opponent? It's best for him to die inside. Otherwise, if I don't **T him out, it'll be considered as his ass being tight. The weapon demon said, It's useless to speak of this now. He can only rely on himself. I don't know. How is the demon emperor now? The demon emperor had entered the tower. However, he did not enter from the first floor, but chose to enter using a different method. And he was the only one with such ability in the entire magic tribe. The weapon demon muttered, The only one who can save him is the demon emperor. Flames shot up into the sky. However, in a split second, the fire was extinguished, returning to its original scarlet color. Quite a few people in the plaza became excited. Kid, the 7th floor is the most ancient clan of our magic tribe. You can't pass it. Kill him. Kill him. Everyone shouted in unison. The 5 Master S frowned. They were not worried about the disciples of Magic Tribe behind them. They were only worried that Long Fei would not be able to take it. It was facing the 4 oldest Magic Tribe tribes. Amongst the 4 great tribes, the Powerhouse S were the most mysterious. Moreover, normally he didn't show himself or reveal himself, but at critical moments, he would be able to unleash his most powerful strength. They would never allow a human to pass the 10-story Devil Tower's trial. In the pagoda, The power of the big fire ring was instantly extinguished. However, in this instant, Long Fei felt the source of the aura in the blood mist. Even though it was only for an instant, it was very clear. All right, then come again. Long Fei madly rushed to the thickest part of the blood fog. He pointed to the sky with one hand as he said, "Come, big fire ring, fire emperor." Rumble! A flame shot into the sky and exploded, turning into a huge fireball. An incomparably strong heat crazily evaporated the blood mist. The instant the blood fog evaporated, Long Fei's line of sight became clear. Ha ha ha! Boundless? There's a boundary now. Boom! The flames were extinguished. Long Fei once again charged forward and released the flames from the big fire ring. He used the flames to evaporate the blood mist, clearly seeing the direction, and continued onward like this. Slowly, Long Fei saw the stairs. He stepped onto the stairs of the 8th floor. Soon, we'll be able to clear it soon. Long Fei was indescribably excited. As long as he could climb the stairs, he could pass through the 7th floor. Thinking about the double the reward, Long Fei couldn't help but become excited. Again. Big fire ring, fire emperor. Boom. With another burst of flames, Long Fei advanced forward mightily. At the same time, his true chi value dropped crazily. Moreover, his health point was also falling crazily. Blue and red were both falling. Under this kind of situation, Long Fei's situation was extremely dangerous, but he had no other choice. He could only brace himself and charge forward. One step, just like how he had walked step by step from being mocked as a trash until now. Every step was determined without the slightest bit of hesitation. Huff, 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 huff. Long Fei panted heavily. Seeing that there was only a little distance left, his eyes became determined. Again. Rumble. It was the release of the big fire ring's power again. Long Fei took a few more steps forward. He was already standing at the foot of the stairs. Long Fei was overjoyed. Last step. The power of the big fire ring was released. Long Fei took a step forward and excitedly shouted, "I've won! Ha ha ha!" But at this moment, his foot stomped heavily on the ground. He didn't step on the stairs, but directly missed them. The entire world once again became a field of blood red. It was as if he had returned to his original place. Illusion? Long Fei quickly searched, but found nothing. Immediately, anger billowed as he cursed loudly. "God damn your ancestor! Are you messing with me?" Ha ha ha! A deep voice rang out in the air. It was very arrogant, and it laughed in contempt. "So what if I'm playing with you? A mere human dares to be so arrogant in our magic tribe's territory. Who do you think you are? Do you think you have the right to be arrogant here? Humph! Kid, let me see how long you can last." Ha ha ha! Everything is back to where it started. Are you angry? Are you angry? Ha ha ha! The voice laughed wildly. However, at this moment, Long Fei pointed to a certain location in the sky with his middle finger and laughed. "You finally spoke again. Hee hee, this secret world is boundless, and you are the end. Ha ha ha!" At this moment, Long Fei became excited. "The one I am waiting for is you." In an instant, Long Fei's forehead turned sinister. His heart became gloomy, and he roared out, "Second-level Ghost King, possession!" Boom! The corrupt ghost hand skill was released. The Ghost Emperor appeared. It instantly merged into Long Fei's body. In the midst of the lightning, Long Fei suddenly rushed forward. Boom! A powerful force directly pushed an old man against the ceiling. The entire 7th floor's secret world shook, and a powerful force spread outwards. That person's face instantly turned pale. You never thought of it, right? Damn you, I've been waiting for you. Spare me? You're still very young. Long Fei roared. He grabbed onto the old man's chest and smashed onto the ground. Rumble! What light formation? Some puppet ants. Some big fire ring. These are all empty. Long Fei was very clear about this in his heart. If the 7th floor was boundless, then as long as the tower guard overcame it, the boundless secret world would naturally break through. He had been waiting. He was willing to risk his life. It was showing weakness. He just wanted him to make a sound again, just like a fox showing its tail. Now, it finally appeared. One chance. As long as Long Fei was given one chance, he would be able to beat him up. Thus, without any hesitation, Long Fei summoned his 2nd-level Ghost King. After all, his opponent was a powerhouse of the Zhenwu realm. Boom! Long Fei landed. Another heavy punch landed. I will be arrogant. I used to be arrogant before, but now I'm as arrogant as ever. Long Fei struck him hard, not giving him any chance to resist. Bam! 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 The formidable power of the 2nd-level Ghost King was also exerted to the limit, and the old man was beaten into a human shape by Long Fei. There were less and less gashes on the top of his head. Finally, Long Fei hugged onto both his fists, roared deeply, and said, "Die!" Boom! When his HP fell, it became 0 points. The old man was knocked to the ground and remained motionless. Long Fei panted heavily and said, "Can we clear the level now?" As soon as he finished, the blood mist dispersed. Not far away, an old man was sitting on the stairs leading to the 8th floor. The same old man that Long Fei had killed just now. Resurrection after death. Long Fei's scalp felt a little numb. And also, at this time, the Ghost Emperor's time was about to end. If he were to give it another shot, he would die for sure. F***CK. I'm going to die from blood loss this time. Chapter 25:01 Two Hearts. Chapter 25:01 Two Hearts Resurrection After Death. Again, it could be said that Long Fei was dead meat. It was also at this time. Ding! System notification. Ghost King time is up. The power of the Ghost Emperor disappeared. Long Fei recovered his cultivation. The old man on the stairs was startled, revealing a smile that was like Maitreya Buddha's. Interesting little rascal. Who? Long Fei braced himself and walked forward, saying, "Did I clear the trial?" No matter what, he still had to face it. The old man said, "Guess." Long Fei was startled and said, "Do you want me to guess?" At this time, the elder was also startled and said, "Guess." Long Fei said, "Let me guess, then I definitely think I have passed it myself. I said it very clearly just now. As long as I walk into the bloody mist, I would have cleared it. I won." Very confident. At this time, there was no other way besides to be confident. However, the elder smiled faintly and said, "The bloody mist." Then, the elder looked at the top of the tower and asked, "Do you think that you have made it out?" Long Fei looked towards where he was looking at and saw that there was still a blood mist covering the top of his head, ready to fall at any time. Moreover, if the blood mist descended, then it wouldn't just cause his health point to drop by a few dozen points. It would probably suck his health point dry in an instant, because it was not blood fog. It was a huge pool of blood. Long Fei's expression tightened and said, "What are you going to do? Name a few things. Don't make those useless things." The blood pool was suspended above his head like a huge blade. If one was not careful, they would be able to chop off Long Fei's head. Rather than this, it would be better to have something fun. The elder said, "Your strength is not bad. As long as you can give me that power, I will allow you to pass." "No way." Long Fei rejected him immediately without even thinking. The power of the Ghost Emperor was one of his trump cards. How could he give it to someone else? Absolutely impossible. The elder's eyes grew sinister as he said, "Since you won't give it to me, then you won't be able to pass. If that's the case..." Gulp. Gulp. A series of bubbling sounds came from the depths of the thick blood fog. It was as if the water was slowly boiling, and the blood fog was slowly being discharged again. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. The old man said, "I'll give you one more chance. If you don't give me a chance to save my life, I can still extract that power from your body." The Ghost Emperor was very strong. How could he give a cultivation technique that came from the universal realm to someone else? Take Long Fei's things? 2 words. "In your dreams." Long Fei's eyes narrowed and said, "You want my thing? No one can." The old man's expression turned sinister as he coldly said, "Then go to hell." Boom. The blood pool churned and fell abruptly. Walala! Long Fei's eyes darkened. According to the situation where he was about to lose blood, if this kind of blood pool were to fall, then he would definitely die. However, Long Fei was unhappy. He didn't dodge. Heavily stomped. At this moment, Long Fei moved. The heavenly fire on his left arm ignited. Seeing the blood that was being poured down, Long Fei roared out, "I want to see what is inside." Rumble! He rushed straight into the blood pool. At this moment, ding! Health point, 1,000 points. Ding! System notification. Health point, 1,000 points. Ding! System notification. Health point, 1,000 points. From the initial beautiful 50 points of health point to 1,000 points, it had increased by 20 times, and its speed had also increased by quite a bit. It could be said that Long Fei could not even last a minute in the blood pool. In less than a minute, he would be dead. The system beeped crazily. As his health point descended, Long Fei's entire body was in incomparable discomfort. His internal organs were all agitated, and every single pore seemed to be strongly squeezed as fresh blood oozed out of them. Unwell. Puffed. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei's body was covered in blood, but he did not stop and rushed up madly. "Let me see what it is." "Ah, ah, ah." He roared crazily. Long Fei fought with all his might. A cold smile appeared on the old man's face. Boom. Long Fei suddenly roared as though he had touched something. What a dense devilish energy. Demon? Blood demon. The old man's cold smile flashed across Long Fei's mind, his heart sinking slightly as he exhaled lightly, and the idea entered the Ming clan's mark. Huff! Ming clan! Give me some strength. The Ming clan imprint flashed with a bright light. It was also at this time. The Ju Kei sword began to burn with a boom. The flames looked exceptionally ferocious under the shine of the blood. Long Fei pointed at the air and roared, "Underworld chop!" Boom! The profound super force of Ming clan in his left arm exploded. They rushed into the Ju Kei sword and slashed at the center of the pool of blood. At this moment, he only had a tiny bit of his health point left. At this moment, the passive power of the arrogant form state, the power of the tyrant body. Boom! Long Fei's body became pitch black and glowed with a brilliant light, as if his entire body had become heavily armed. One slash! Space itself shattered. Countless voices roared out as they rushed out one after another, surging into the pool of blood, while ear-piercing sounds rang out like the wails of 10,000 ghosts. At this moment, the blood pool suddenly shrank. Finally, bang, bang, bang. All that was left was a series of heartbeats. A red, purple heart floated in front of Long Fei. Just now, the blood in the blood pool had been released from these two hearts. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he gasped for air. At this moment, he only had a tiny bit of his health point left. If not for him using his nether energy to exterminate the blood pool, he would have been dead by now. 2 hearts. He's still alive. Long Fei's gaze immediately darkened as he stared at the old man. The old man's expression was a little ugly. He never thought that Long Fei would be able to unleash an even more powerful strength. He sneered and said, "Kid, just cut off these 2 hearts, and you'll be able to pass. If I don't kill, then I'll stay here forever." Finished. The old man's eyes were shut tight, secretly staring at Long Fei. The great sword in Long Fei's hand moved. Shwa! The sword flashed with incomparable sharpness. The old man's eyes flashed with a bright light, as if he was about to laugh out loud. But in that instant, Long Fei's aura retracted, and the Ju Kei sword slightly raised its body. It immediately moved its 2 hearts onto the back of the sword, and with a slight slice, it landed in his hands. Then, Long Fei laughed. "You want to borrow my hand to kill these 2 hearts? You're thinking too much." The idea moved and directly entered the space ring's body. At this moment, the old man was infuriated. No, it pounced towards Long Fei as if its life depended on it. Chapter 25:02 Heaven Fire and Super Force of Ming Clan Fusion. Chapter 25:02 Heaven Fire and Super Force of Ming Clan Fusion Crazy. It jumped even more than stepping on a cat's tail. Veins popped out on his forehead. All the power in his body exploded out like a beast and pounced towards Long Fei. The power of the Zhen Wu realm was incomparably strong. At this moment, Long Fei's heart went cold. His right hand moved. The sky sword was released. If they couldn't dodge, then let's fight. He put his whole body and mind on guard, adjusting his breath to its best state. But the 7th level of the Demon Pagoda suddenly released an incomparably powerful force. A whirlpool of energy crazily sucked the old man into it. Suddenly, was unable to react in time. What's going on? It was also at this time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for passing the 7th floor of the 10-story Devil Tower. Level +2. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Arrogant Form 9th Pin. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. 2 notifications sounded out. Long Fei no longer thought about how the 7th-floor tower master had been sucked into the vortex. Instead, he became looking around at the surroundings of the pagoda. The 7th floor of the Demon Pagoda was now as completely lit up. Level 1. There was no difference between the surrounding and the space in the Demon Pagoda. It was just that there were a lot of magic tribe almost died just now. Long Fei also did not understand. Right now, he was only excited. He was too lazy. Even if he was given the choice to choose the image of the old man being sucked into the vortex flashed across Long Fei's mind. He thought, seems like the strongest is not the Tower Guard, but the Demon Pagoda itself. He wouldn't have that much experience. Whoever breaks the rules, no matter who all the demon beasts, they will be crushed by the Demon Tower. But in just an hour, when Long Fei thought of the 2 still beating hearts, to the 2nd level, immediately took them out arrogant from the form state and said, he directly became a Mahayana realm. How can there be a purple heart? The moment he leveled up, these 2 hearts and incomparably vigorous to clearing the level just now from the depths if I kill these 2 hearts, mind, then the person who will be sucked into the pagoda and his entire body had undergone was a qualitative afraid when he thought about it. Completely. It was just that. It was unimaginable. Long Fei frowned. This feeling was too refreshing. Whose 2 hearts are they? The Mahayana realm. Why was it still beating? Unless this person is still alive, you will be able to step into at a very high frequency. At that time, this was definitely the heart of a super powerhouse. I will do it alone. Long Fei
arrogant
thought
old
about
Ming
the process
clan
of using his
demoness,
alchemy to
the
fight
Emperor
against the
Zhenwu's
elderly
realm in
is
purple.
amazing. Right?
Immediately,
If you force
Long
my
Fei
woman
quickly
to
took
marry
out
a
the two
eunuch,
magic pill,
then
as he
I
had
will be the
refined.
first one to
It's
hand
exactly
it over.
the same.
Long
One was
Fei
purple,
said, and the
fiercely.
other was red.
He was in high spirits.
Could it be a quest or
As
something?
for the remaining
The
3
color
levels,
was exactly
if
the
they
same.
all passed,
Long
they
Fei
would
was a
be
little confused
at the 6th level.
After thinking for a few
Maybe,
minutes,
on the
he
whole,
still couldn't
there
understand.
would still be
And
rewards
Long
for
Fei was
completing the
too
quest.
lazy to think about
At
it
that
anymore.
time,
What he
might
needed now
even
was
be
a
able to
break,
step into
a
the
cool down
Zhenwu
for his
realm.
recovery skill.
Thinking of this,
Thus,
Long
Fei's
Fei
blood
did not
started to
immediately
boil.
enter the 8th
As long
floor.
as his level
He was
reached,
waiting.
he would not fear
At the same
anyone.
time, this
When
was
his
the level.
idea entered the Ming clan's
Huff.
imprint space,
Long
and
Fei
felt
took
the
a
thick
deep power
breath,
of nether
trying
in the
his
Ming
best to
clan's
calm
space.
himself down.
Long Fei said, "If only I could control all the power inside this space." Ming clan's seal space. In the middle was a ball of fire. It was also where the Skyfire Lodge was located. Long Fei looked at the ball of heavenly fire and muttered, "It would be better if I could release the underworld fire." Huh. Long Fei was shocked and excited. He asked, "If I confuse the heaven flame and the power of nether, would it cause a chemical reaction to turn into an underworld fire?" *CK. I'm such a genius. Ha ha ha. The power of nether was the super force of Ming clan. The heaven flame was the ethereal flame. No matter if it is the super force of Ming clan or the heavenly fire, they all possess unparalleled strength. These two powers were still much weaker than Underworld Fire S. After all, Underworld Fire S were able to kill even the experts of Universal Realm. If they could master all of the Underworld Fire, then who else in the Zhenwu continent could stop him? I don't care. Let's give it a try. Long Fei calmed his heart, moved the heavenly fire in his left hand. The idea activated the power of nether, and in that instant, a strong wave of true essence wrapped around the sword. Rumble! The force exploded. It directly wreaked havoc and exploded. Long Fei's idea directly exploded into pieces, and his mind also heavily shook, as if he was unable to endure it any longer, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. *CK. Unable to fuse them? The moment the two forces came into contact, a strong force of rejection was formed. Was not under Long Fei's control at all. However, this force was too powerful, so strong that Long Fei was excited. Once I fuse with that force, I will definitely be able to pull the wind and lightning along with me. I don't care. Again. Long Fei tried again. This time, he was even more careful. But a few seconds later, rumble! Another huge explosion sounded, as if Long Fei's body was about to be torn apart, and another mouthful of fresh blood sprayed out. *CK. I can't do it. After consuming a few healing pellets, Long Fei tried again. Rumble. Fail. Again. Rumble. Fail. Again. Long Fei trained in a technique that allowed her to rely on the system to level up her proficiency and acquire experience points. She had never relied on her own strength to integrate or cultivate anything. This time, Long Fei went all out, ignoring the consequences. He firmly believed in this. The fusion of the heaven flame and the power of nether would definitely produce an enormous power. As long as one grasped this power, the last 3 levels would not be a problem. Again. Chapter 25:03, One Day and One Night. Chapter 25:03, One Day and One Night. Long Fei had never been a genius. Whether it was training or other things, the only thing he could rely on was hard work. In his previous life, he had no chance. In this life, he desperately seized this opportunity. The Tower Lord of the 7th floor is too strong. If it wasn't a coincidence, he would already be dead. He knew the last 3 levels were even more difficult, and he didn't have a way back. He would either pass or die. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live. He wanted to destroy 10-story Devil Tower and become the strongest person in history. He wanted to go to God's sect gathering and destroy everything. He wanted to trample the old witch. He wanted to hug Yorong's big chest to sleep. He wanted all of this. Thus, he couldn't die. The Mahayana realm could be an impressive existence in the outside world, but in the 10-story Devil Tower he was still as strong as an ant in the later 3 levels. If he wanted to break through the 3rd level of the Demon Pagoda, he needed to obtain even more power. He had to fuse the heavenly fire and the power of Nether. Long Fei was frantically trying. He was also crazily getting injured. It was a completely self-harming training method. However, he did not stop for a second. From the 1st floor to the 7th floor, Long Fei discovered that there was no time limit for him. He could stay on the 1st floor for a very long time. This was probably the Demon Pagoda's bug. Thus, Long Fei did not have to worry about the time either. Come, fit. Long Fei forcefully moved his strength and merged the 2 forces together. An incomparably huge amount of true essence wrapped around them and forcibly squeezed them. But a few seconds later, rumble! A loud sound echoed out. Another failure. Long Fei was not discouraged. I don't believe that I can't do it unless I rely on the system. Again. 1 fusion. The 7th floor lit up. Oh my God! Is this boy even human? He actually managed to break through the 7th floor. How is this possible? No one can do it. He's definitely not human. From the initial disdain, ridicule, and disdain to the present shock, the magic tribe around the plaza also changed because their faith was power. Passing the 6th level in a row, from puppets to formations, in the history of Magic Tribe, in the history of humans, in the history of the millions of planes who would be able to master the 6 auxiliary skills. Moreover, or was he a deity? He had even passed the 7th floor. Just how strong was he? The violet-robed elder was incomparably excited. Master is awesome. Master is mighty. My master is exploding. Ha ha ha. Seeing the lights on the 7th floor's pagoda, the people who were a few hundred years old were as happy as children. However, the artifact demon secretly said he passed the 7th floor, but there was no reaction from the 8th floor. He didn't go up. The purple-clothed elder said, "Artifact demon, what do you mean by that?" Beast Master Old Demon said, "We don't know what the 7th test will be. Will he die?" Not waiting for him to finish, the elder in purple immediately said, "Ha! You're the one who will die. My master is unrivaled in this world. No one can stop him. No one can kill him." Puppet Demon Captain said, "His cultivation is still lacking. He must have paid a heavy price to pass the 7th floor's trial, but I don't know if he can still hold on." The 4 great tribes of Magic Tribe. Legend has it that it's the Magic Tribe from another realm. It is also the oldest tribe in Magic Tribe. We are at most half of Magic Tribe, and only cultivators in the Devil Dao, but that's the real devil. The 5 Master S went silent. Indeed, they were just people who cultivated in the demonic arts and walked the demonic path. And the 4 great tribes were the true Magic Tribe S, teleporting Magic Tribe from another world. It was a demon from the other side of Magic Mountain. In a corner, Transformers, Kai Lina, Princess Sand Moon raised his head and looked at the Demon Pagoda in the clouds. The lights of the 7-level Demon Pagoda were shining brightly for 100,000 kilometers, like a beacon in the ocean, guiding a ship that had lost its way. It was very dazzling. However, the 8th floor didn't react at all. What had happened? Be it Transformers or Kai Lina, they were both extremely anxious. He really wanted to rush into the pagoda to take a look, but they knew if another person were to rush into the demon pagoda, then the demon pagoda's level would raise again, which would be even more disadvantageous to Long Fei. Transformers muttered, "Boss, you have to hold on." "Definitely." The night went dark. Not a single person left the square. They were all waiting quietly. The lights of the 7th floor illuminated the plaza as bright as day. The entire night, the 8th floor was still unmoving. No one stepped onto it. Early morning. Even after an entire night, there's still no response. Could he really have died inside to be able to create history through the 7th level? This human is truly amazing. No one in the magic tribe has ever passed the 7th floor. What a pity if he can pass the 10-story Devil Tower. I really would agree to the Demon Emperor taking him in as his disciple. If such a monstrous genius can become the person of the magic tribe, who would be able to stop us? That's right. The Gods Sect Gathering S who sent him to participate in Xiaogua's competition. Each and every one of them were overturned by the human powerhouse S. Now Sai, kid, you have to hold on. Many people wished for Long Fei to be able to stand up. Many people wanted to see a miracle. One night had changed many people's minds. They wanted Long Fei to live. One was the day. The demon pagoda remained calm, and there was no reaction. A deathly silence. Many magic tribe S stood up and left because, in their eyes, Long Fei was already dead. Even if he didn't die, he wouldn't be able to fight anymore. In the evening, many more people left. He's probably dead. Sigh. What a pity. He definitely didn't die. Everyone, don't be in such a hurry to leave. The demon pagoda hasn't disappeared yet. The brat must still be inside. Everyone, don't leave. He will definitely stand up again. It's useless. He's already made history. He's probably waiting for death on the 7th floor. People kept leaving. Even if he did not die, Long Fei was close to it. It was just a matter of time before he died. The purple-clothed elder was the most anxious as he said, "I want to go in." The weapon demon grabbed him and said, "Don't go crazy. If you go in and raise the level of the pagoda, he will have even less hope." The purple-robed elder said, "But what's the situation now?" The weapon demon said, "No one knows. The only thing we can do is believe in him. We believe that he can create a miracle." "Trust him?" The purple-clothed old man muttered to himself. Suddenly, the demon tower issued a light rumbling sound. Next, the 8th floor of the demon pagoda flashed with a red light. The entire audience was stunned. That brat, that kid, we've stepped into the 8th floor. Chapter 2504, Return to Earth? Chapter 2504, Return to Earth? Other than Long Fei, no one knew what had happened in the Demon Pagoda. One day and one night of hard work. The results. Long Fei had stepped onto the 8th floor. The moment he stepped into the 8th floor, the weather suddenly changed as devil flames shot into the sky. Everything around him made Long Fei feel as if he had stepped into the 18th floor of hell. Very cold. The air was filled with the aura of death. Long Fei stood at the stairs, quietly looking into the distance. In the distance, an old man sat there with white brows and a stooped waist, his face as pale as paper. The moment he saw Long Fei, a cold light flashed in his eyes. The 8th floor. Life and death world. Long Fei made a move and said slightly, "Please advise." The corners of the white-browed elder's mouth curled up, and a ghost-like laughter came out of his throat. Hee hee hee. There are no rules here. The only rule is life-death. I can only choose one. Life or death, Long Fei said without the slightest hesitation. Ha ha. The white-browed elder let out another cold laugh. Kid, life begins with death. Since it is life, then it means death. You have chosen the wrong person. Ha ha ha. He started to laugh maniacally. In an instant, Long Fei felt a huge suction force pulling on him, and in that instant, the 7th floor appeared in front of him, sucking in the old man's huge swirl. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The whirlpool spun as a huge force enveloped Long Fei, pulling him like 100,000 ghost hands pulling on his body crazily. Long Fei was incapable of resisting against that force. Ah. Long Fei's veins popped out as he tried his best to defend. But he couldn't struggle at all. He was constantly being sucked in, and he was unable to pull it out at all. All of the strength in his body was being suppressed by a surge of energy. Ha ha ha. Kid, didn't you choose to give birth? Then let's start with death. Ha ha ha. The white-browed elder laughed out loud. Long Fei looked at the gigantic spiral and thought to himself, in the life and death realm, is there death without life? Or is there life without death? That's not right. This place is definitely not as simple as a choice. If he chose to give birth, he would die. If so, could he choose to die? To clear the level? That would be too simple. Absolutely impossible. Since this was the life and death world, no matter what you choose, you'll have to experience life and death. Then, Long Fei withdrew his strength and thought in his heart, let's gamble. The moment his strength disappeared, his entire body was sucked into the huge whirlpool. In the long darkness, the eerie laughter of the white-browed old man unceasingly sounded. You're dead. You're dead. Ha ha. Kid, you're already dead. Boom. A loud sound echoed out. Long Fei's consciousness disappeared. After an unknown period of time, Long Fei's eyelids twitched, and he opened his eyes. Huh. Earth. Suddenly, he felt that he had returned to Earth, to his own den of dogs, because in front of him was a computer which was still on the game interface. Which game was the one he played before he transmigrated? On the wall was an old man's naked poster. There was a trash can under the computer table. The trash can was slowly rolled into a ball of toilet paper. It was all too familiar. Too familiar. The familiarity made Long Fei a little at a loss of what to do. Am I back? Have I returned to Earth? Has he returned? Or, that was originally a dream? Long Fei frowned. He sat up from the bed, and his head was in pain, as though someone had hit him with a pole. I can't bring myself to. Was it a dream? Long Fei muttered, but why is it so clear? Why is it so clear in my memory that even in my dreams, I wouldn't be able to remember it so clearly. He remembered everything that happened in the Zhenwu continent. Dream could not be so clear. However, if he wasn't dreaming, how could he have returned to Earth? Long Fei shook his head. His eyes lit up. That's right. System. And then Long Fei moved. System, come out right now. No response. System merchant shop. No response. Cultivation technique column. No response. Ming clan mark. No response. Heaven fire, Ju K sword. Second level ghost king. Everything was unresponsive. Long Fei's heart also sank even deeper. He felt like he was a madman. His heart was incomparably crazed, and he even wanted to go berserk. There's nothing. Why is there nothing? Is this really a dream? No, no, Long Fei said in a low voice. Even if it's just a dream, you have to let me bring the system back. Suddenly, Long Fei looked at some of the things on the computer. Immediately, he rushed forward like a madman, not even sparing a glance at the poster pasted on the wall. Game. Yes. When I was playing games, I crossed over to another world. Maybe I can teleport back. I still have another otherworldly invitation scroll. If you want me to go back to Earth, at least let me bring back my cultivation level and bring the system back, right? Long Fei picked up the mouse and started to operate it crazily. But 2 hours passed. Other than killing monsters in the game crazily, he did not experience any changes to the quests he accepted. In the end, he knocked over the strongest boss in the game, not even bothering to look at the holy artifact equipment that dropped. He fell on the bed, his eyes filled with dead silence. Why? 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 I want to wake up. It was as if he was putting everything that happened in Zhen Wujie into a dream. I'm not here. What about Kai Lina? What about Princess San Moon? What about Eoram? Even if you want me to wake up, you have to make me finish doing everything before I wake up. Long Fei was unwilling to give up. Extremely hateful. In your dreams. Yes. I'll sleep and dream about going back. Long Fei immediately went to sleep. Perhaps he was too excited, or perhaps the poster on the wall was too eye-catching. No matter what, Long Fei couldn't fall asleep. He tossed and turned in bed. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Young brother, what's wrong? Is he sick? I don't have any business today, either. How about I serve you for a bit? We're all neighbors, so I'll give you a 20% discount. The sound of sunset came from outside the door. It was the sound of a butcher returning from the sunrise. To be exact, it was a middle-aged woman who sold meat. He had always wanted to seduce Long Fei, but Long Fei held back. Long Fei roared, "Scram!" What kind of beauty hadn't he seen before? In the past, he might have been a bit impulsive, but now, even if the famous international model took off his clothes and stood in front of him, Long Fei would still be able to withstand it. Suddenly, a scream came from the building next door. "It's on fire! It's on fire!" He was not in a hurry to shout out when he heard a loud explosion coming from the gas tank. A little girl began to cry mournfully. He didn't know why. Long Fei flipped his body and bounced up. The heck! He crossed over again. The heck! He crossed over again. He quickly rushed out. Seeing Long Fei, the female seller immediately said, "Little brother, you're finally out. I know you're lonely, and I'm also lonely." Hey. Where are you going? There's a fire over there. Humph. Judging from your declining appearance, it's your fortune that I've taken a liking to you. I only know how to tease you every day. A poor bastard like you deserves to be cheated for your entire life. He started cursing. Long Fei did not turn back. He did not even close the door to his kennel. Instead, he crazily charged towards the building next door. He didn't know why, but a little girl's crying sound seemed to have come from inside his mind. They were all crying. Daddy, Mom, Mom. They continued to wail loudly, a sound that would make one's heart break. Long Fei used all of his strength to crazily rush down the stairs, and then crazily rushed into the building next door. It was as if he couldn't control himself. It was as if he had to do this. Rumble! Rumble! Boom! A few more explosions occurred in succession, shaking the entire building as if it was about to collapse. Suddenly, the face of a woman who had just returned from buying vegetables suddenly paled, and her legs went limp. However, she still rushed into the building without a care in the world. Shienna! 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 However, she was hugged by a few big men. The flames were too fierce, and entering would only result in death. The woman struggled madly. At the same time, she knelt on the ground. Save my daughter. My daughter is still inside. Please, I beg you, please, whoever save my daughter, please. Her tears dried up. The fire's too hot to get in. Let's wait for the fire brigade. That's right. Gas leak. Entering is just seeking death. Such a big fire. There's no way I can get in. Rumble. Boom. There were more explosions, and some of the floors were already collapsing. Within the flame, just as Long Fei was about to rush in, he saw an old granny curled up at the corner of the stairs, dying. Long Fei couldn't care less. He carried her on his back and dashed out. His clothes were on fire, but he acted as if he didn't feel any pain. To him, it didn't matter anymore. He was clearly in the Zhenwu continent. He was obviously in the middle of a 10-story devil tower. If he couldn't say to Yurong and saw her marrying a eunuch, then there was no meaning in him living either. Now, when he returned to Earth, he felt extremely uncomfortable thinking that he was unable to save Yurong. Take the old granny out of the building. Without even thinking about it, Long Fei turned around and charged into the flames again. The crying sound in his mind became weaker and weaker as Long Fei bellowed in anger. There were multiple burns on his body. His face was red like a red-hot piece of iron, and he completely ignored it as he charged into the flames and watched one of his little girls fall to the ground. Boom! The gas tank exploded. A large piece of Long Fei's back was blasted open, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He howled in pain. The little girl was awakened and looked at Long Fei. Big brother, leave quickly. Bring me, you will die. Was a little astonished. How could a little girl say something like this at this time? However, he did not think too much and gently smiled. It doesn't matter if Big Brother dies. As long as you are alive, I will save you no matter what. He got up from the ground and rushed out again. Rumble! Rumble! It was about to collapse. His arms were about to collapse. Everyone quickly retreat. Shienner! Shienner! The mother shouted hysterically. Long Fei rushed out of the flames, but a giant block of cement suddenly flew out and smashed down. At the same time, flames engulfed them like ferocious beasts. If he dodged the block of cement, he would be engulfed in flames. Both of them would die. If he didn't dodge, he would be engulfed by the flames. However, he had the time to throw the little girl away. At the very least, he could save her life. Die. Long Fei smiled. I am very happy to be able to return to Earth, but I can't even save the person I love. I can't accept this. What's the point of living? He looked at the little girl in his arms. The little girl also looked at Long Fei with wide eyes, as if she knew that Long Fei had made his choice. However, she didn't say anything, and instead seriously looked at Long Fei, as if she wanted to remember Long Fei's appearance, and looked at him extremely seriously. It doesn't make sense. Long Fei said, live well. After which, he chuckled softly. He threw his hands. The little girl looked at Long Fei from midair, saw him being engulfed, and muttered, "I will always remember you forever." He didn't know why. At that moment, a strange scene occurred. An exclamation mark suddenly appeared on the little girl's head, just like a Quest NPC. The exclamation mark on her head was exactly the same as Yi Yorong's. Long Fei was stunned. It was impossible to imagine what was going on. An illusion? Or was it the system's side effects? Or was it a dream? Long Fei couldn't understand, but he could see clearly that the little girl had a golden exclamation mark on her head. She looked at Long Fei, who was engulfed in flames, and was not one bit nervous, nor was she afraid. It was as if everything was normal, with only traces of expectation. It was like looking forward to meeting her again. Rumble! The flames engulfed Long Fei, like a ferocious beast opening its bloody mouth and swallowing Long Fei whole. The entire building collapsed. Long Fei thought, "I'm going to die." Being able to save 2 people before dying is the most amazing thing that I've done in my life. Long Fei laughed, and laughed indifferently. Buzz! Flames shot up into the sky. At this moment, Long Fei did not possess any idea. He shouldn't even have any bones left over from the burning, right? But after an unknown period of time, an extremely sudden voice resounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for passing the 10-story Devil Tower's 8th floor test. Reward, level +2. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently, your level is at the 2nd rank. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, large scale, 3rd pin. At the moment of upgrade, Long Fei opened his eyes wide and suddenly woke up. His hands caressed his surroundings randomly and then looked at the world around him. Did I teleport again? That's not right. Back to the 10-story Devil Tower. Long Fei stood up, looked at his own body, especially the thing inside his pants. What's going on? Am I dreaming again? That's not right. I was dreaming when I just got back to Earth, but that dream is too clear. Furthermore, why is there an exclamation mark on the head of that little girl? Long Fei had a string of doubts, but he couldn't understand them. However, the one who was even more confused was not Long Fei. Instead, it was the white-browed elder at the head of the stairs. He looked at Long Fei with a stupefied expression and frowned. Where exactly are you from? Chapter 2506, Reward from Legends. Chapter 2506, Reward from Legends. It was mysteriously sucked into the black hole whirlpool, transmigrating back to another world without any reason, an inexplicable fire, an inexplicable little girl, and then teleported back out of nowhere. He had somehow passed the 8th floor of the 10-story Devil Tower. Long Fei could not react at all. This was too fast. It was as if he had experienced 2 different worlds in the blink of an eye. Life and death world. Samsara. To choose to live was to die. Long Fei himself was still a little confused. However, the person who was the most stupefied was not Long Fei, but the white-browed elder, who was the Tower Lord of the 8th floor. He was the one who was truly stupefied as he stared at Long Fei with his 2 eyes, and muttered, "Just where are you from? Why have I never seen such a world?" Long Fei's heart skipped a beat, and he said, "What did you see? Did you see what happened to him on Earth? It can't be?" And then Long Fei was careful. It was not important that he was a human being, but if his system was discovered, then no matter how strong the white-browed elder was, he would still die. This secret was something that even his own father would not reveal. The white-browed old man said, The eighth level life and death world. It can also be called the life and death realm. If you choose to live, then that is the place you will be born in. You didn't start with a child, but you instantly became an adult, which I don't understand. Then it's over. You chose to save someone, and in the end, you were engulfed by a great fire. If you die, that means you are alive. Everything from that world has never existed in the Zhenwu continent. So I'm curious, where exactly are you from? The white-browed elder said. He was puzzled, doubtful. Long Fei's heart relaxed. He probably didn't see the system, didn't see the scene when I was born. Otherwise, he's probably even more shocked. He had awakened memories from his past life. He clearly knew how he was born. In that special space, there were a few Universe Emperor-level powerhouse, and then there was the super life form of alien technology. This was because the universal realm did not exist. Long Fei himself could not explain these things clearly. If these were found out, I'm afraid he would probably be treated as a mouse by Xiao Bai. Was relieved that he skipped the cultivation of the system. He was unable to activate the system in the dream he just had, and the white-browed elder probably wouldn't have been able to sense it either. Long Fei said indifferently, outside of primordial territory, there are countless planes. I only entered the universal realm from a small plane. There's nothing strange about it. Earth. She was not in a martial arts training plane. She should be considered a technological existence. Such a plane did not exist in the universal realm. However, following the explosion of his sky fire blade chi, the tornado also underwent a change. Flames. Flames churned in the tornado. The entire scene, it was like tornado fire. Boom, boom, boom. Ah! All of Long Fei's clothes were torn apart, leaving only the sea god's armor behind. Standing in front of the wind wall, when the wind rammed into his body, it was like a fist smashing down, ferociously. It was too hard. However, Long Fei endured it with his life, because once he was swept up by the wind, he would instantly reach a height of 30,000 meters. At that time, even if he had a bit more than 100 million health point, he would probably die. The damage of this tornado was too great. Huff! Long Fei exhaled a deep breath. Come! With both hands, he tightly held onto the Ju Kei sword. A fierce stab. Boom! The Ju Kei sword was instantly sent flying, and at this moment, Long Fei moved, and following the rotation of the Ju Kei sword, Long Fei entered the wind wall. The Ju Kei sword pierced the wind wall, causing Long Fei to hold on tightly. Ah! Ah! The violent wind immediately turned into flames. The entire tornado turned into flames. Ah! Long Fei was roaring. He could not even take a single step inside the wind wall. His entire body was spitting blood, and he could be blown up into the air at any time. This flame. I don't believe it. Break for me. His right fist moved, smashing straight into the wind wall. He followed the punch as well. Long Fei angrily rushed in, and instantly stood in the narrow hole in the wind. He panted heavily. Long Fei's entire body was dripping blood, and it was as if he had crawled up from a pool of blood. His health point had decreased by more than half, and in the eyes of the wind, his health point was still in a frenzy. We can't delay any longer. Long Fei raised his head to look at the sky above the eye of the storm. It was a patch of red. This tornado was too ferocious. F***CK. It's my turn now. Long Fei held the Ju Kei sword tightly with both of his hands, and the gigantic sword blade of the Ju Kei sword turned into a leaf in the wind. Then Long Fei leaned his body back, slightly. All the strength in his body exploded forth. Bring it on. Ah! The veins in his arms bulged. The heaven flame was burning crazily. At this moment, arrogant god energy value. Explode for me. Boom. Long Fei started to spin, moving in reverse. To eliminate the tornado, under such circumstances, the only way was to use his power to clash with it. Reverse force. Only then could he destroy his axis. Huff, huff, huff. It was incredibly difficult for Long Fei to not turn a fist. He was almost unable to grab hold of it, and the Ju Kei sword wanted to send him flying back at any time. One round after another, he used all his strength. In his right arm, in his left arm, as the two streams of power flowed into him, Long Fei's speed began to increase. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The small horse began to whooshing and whooshing. Only a madman like Long Fei could release such power in a tornado. You know, the grade of this tornado was at least Zhen Wu realm's strength. To reverse the flow of such power was simply too difficult. Long Fei's palm split open, and fresh blood gushed out. However, he did not think that he would let go of her hand, grabbing with all his might, and also borrow the strength of the rotation to crazily accelerate. It was as if he had gone insane. Slowly, the tornado slowed down. In the end, after clashing against Long Fei's reverse power, it crazily canceled out the attack, and the tornado quickly became smaller as well. Long Fei knew the effect of it, and was secretly happy in his heart. Ha ha ha! I knew it! The spinning power increased. Half a minute later, the entire tornado had been completely destroyed by Long Fei. Long Fei's Ju Kei sword shook, then roared loudly, "Fuck, come again! I will still crush you." He heaved a huge sigh of relief. However, it was unknown what his words were about to say, but just as he finished speaking, an even more powerful tornado appeared out of thin air. Long Fei was suddenly a little dumbstruck. "He's overreacting?" Long Fei shouted, "Old man, you cheated. I have already broken through the wind and lightning. Why would you appear again?" The red robe ancestor smiled faintly and said, "I have decided on this world. I said you have not passed through it. Do you understand? We'll talk about it later. The wind, rain, and thunder realms isn't for you to use your strength to pass." Long Fei scolded angrily. "You don't use your strength? Could it be that I will use my life to carry it?" At the moment, his entire body was covered with wounds, and it was so deep that the bones could be seen. Every time he ate and smashed his original seat, Long Fei would be in so much pain that he could not take care of himself. The violent wind was like a blade. The rain of ice was like an arrow. It crazily crushed Long Fei's body. His wounds, his health point, and his fleshly body had all been tested like never before. At the same time, the red robe ancestor smiled and said, "You want to feel better, right? Then let's do it together." Rumble! Within the tornado, a violent clap of thunder exploded. The sound wave stirred in the midst of the hurricane and directly entered into Long Fei's eardrums. It was as if his eardrums were about to burst. Blood instantly spurted out of his ears. At this moment, Walala! A silver serpent flashed, and an incomparably thick bolt of lightning struck down heavily, striking the top of Long Fei's head. Ah! 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 His whole body was electrocuted. The lightning drilled into his body from the wound, making him feel uncomfortable. It was indescribably uncomfortable. It was as if his entire body wasn't his, as if it was being expanded by a powerful force and was about to be torn apart. This pain, Long Fei had never before endured it. Wind, rain, thunder, thunder. For rays of elemental energy struck down simultaneously. This feeling, this type of feeling was simply incomparable. However, Blood spurted out from Long Fei's mouth as he revealed his bloodied teeth and said, "I'm not dead yet. I'm still alive. Can you be a bit stronger? Can you make me feel better?" Huh. He didn't care about his life. He had gone completely crazy. At a time like this, Long Fei was still this arrogant. Was he courting death? Red Robe Ancestor's eyes turned sinister. He suddenly stood up and floated in the air and said solemnly, "Brat, you're still arrogant even before death. Let's see how much longer you can continue being arrogant." Then, Red Robe Ancestor formed a seal with his hands and made a grasping motion in the air. A few drops of blood essence fell from his body. The blood essence vanished. It was also at this moment the Zhan Wu realm on Red Robe Ancestor's body erupted like a volcano. "I will give you another power." Devil's flames rising to the sky. Boom! The demonic energy in his body surged into the tornado. At this moment, the tornado turned into a blood-red color, and dazzling streams of blood started to appear. The devil aura, which was extremely dense, was also hiding an endless killing intent within this devil aura. It was incomparably powerful. The 9th floor was shaking violently, trembling. The entire plaza and even the Magic Mountain began to shake. The power of the 9th floor had been completely unleashed from the tower. My God, what kind of power is this? Too strong. I really want to see what's going on inside. Kid, you have to hold on. Countless people held their breaths, their eyes staring straight at the 9th floor. The continuously flashing red light made everyone worry. They were just 2 floors away from passing through the 10-story Devil Tower. What kind of miracle would this bring? Every single Disciples of Magic tribe was looking forward to it. The 5 Masters also held their breaths and remained silent. Their hearts were incomparably nervous as well. Transformers clenched his fists tightly. His face flushed red, wishing that he could replace Long Fei, wished that he could die for Long Fei. But he couldn't go in. No one can go in. If someone else went in, the difficulty of the Demon Pagoda would increase. In the midst of the hurricane, buzz. A demonic shadow appeared. The blood-armored Skeleton King held his large machete and slashed at Long Fei's head. Shwa! The blade slashed down. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. At this time, on the other side, another demonic shadow appeared. It was also the Skeleton King using a large machete to slash at Long Fei's neck. Who? Long Fei's eyes narrowed, and he said solemnly, "Come, I've brought you here. Now let's see what kind of power you have." In that instant, Long Fei took out 2 pellets from the space ring. Take it together. Moreover, at the same time, with the 2 beating hearts, Long Fei directly swallowed them. From head to toe. 1 red, 1 purple. His hair was half red and half purple. Eyebrows, the color of the skin. They were all half red and half purple, and even their voices were double in tone. Wahaha! Dual Demon Body. Chapter 25:09 Dual Demon. Kill him! Chapter 25:09 Dual Demon. Kill him! You don't even know how strong you are until you reach the limit. You have no idea how crazy you are until you go mad. Long Fei fought with all his might. His entire body was already on the verge of collapse from the shock. The power of the wind, rain, thunder, and Zhan Wu realm crazily crushed him. His physical body was already on the verge of collapse. But at this extreme critical point, it was also at this critical point of his insanity. 2 voices came out from Long Fei's space ring. "Let me do it! Let me do it!" The simultaneously released sound was like a demon note. It was the sound that came from the 2 magic pill, and also the sound that came from the 2 hearts. Great devil! A great devil that had once stopped at the third floor. Longface said slightly, "You two? What's the use of all of you? I can't even make it past the third floor. I've already made it to the 9th floor. All of you should just wait there obediently. Don't die the moment you appear." Even though there was still a trace of disdain, but Longfei was thinking for their sake. After all, this was his business, and he did not want others to die. "I have cultivated devilish arts all my life. I don't know anything about puppets, alchemy, or equipment forging, but I still managed to enter the 3rd floor. If I can pass the first 6 levels, I'll definitely crush the other 4 levels." Purple Demon also said, "I also cultivate devil arts for my entire life and refine myself into a purple demon, but I didn't know that the 10-story Devil Towers challenge was omnidirectional. The first 6 levels are very difficult for me, but I will also crush the last 4 levels." Very wild, very cruel. For someone who had never trained in a supporting skill, being able to pass the first 2 tests was already quite good. It was almost impossible. After all, every floor had a peak powerhouse. However, these 2 great devils had never cultivated support skills before. They were completely stunned after entering the 10-story Devil Tower. "Kid, you can't die. If you die, you will be the same as us, forever trapped in the seal. Your soul, your heart, everything will come to nothing. You will live and die with the tower, and it will take us millions of years to merge our souls into the demon energy, and we will only be able to extract our hearts after the appearance of the next challenger. You will be able to absorb our souls and accept our hearts." Violet Devil said crazily. The Red Devil also said, "If you die, then we really have no hope. Although the 2 of us are great devils who kill, we know what great kindness is." Longfei had the chance to kill them. At that moment, the Ju Kei sword in Longfei's hands had the power to sever their hearts, but Longfei did not. This was a great favor, the favor of saving his life. Red, Purple Dual Demon's heart was filled with gratitude. This also cleansed the bloodthirsty demonic aura in their hearts. "We want to live. Take us out of the pagoda. Kid, let us do it." With a heavy sound, the 2 demons simultaneously shouted out. The attacks of the 2 skeleton kings were already about to land. Red Robe Ancestor, who was standing on the other side, laughed coldly with a face full of contempt. Unhappy. He was furious. "I don't care. Who cares about those **T rules? Exactly. Let's see who the F***K can still pass the rules then." Longfei also could not stand it. This was the first time he was being crushed like this. Can't use strength? Can't hit back. Go to hell. Longfei was furious and shouted loudly, "Come!" In that instant, half of them were Red Devil, and the other half were purple demons. At this moment, aha, ha, aha, ha, 2 ferocious laughter burst out. Raising both of his eyes, his left and right fists drew the bow. His body charged forward, and his fists punched out. Boom. Boom. The 2 skeleton kings were instantly destroyed. His fist exploded into smithereens. Longfei's heart sank. Damn it! So fierce. Without waiting for him to recover from his shock, the 2 devils moved and descended from the sky. They roared out loud. What dogs hit wind, rain, Thunderworld, the most formidable thing is its strength. Rumble! His fists were like hammers as they heavily smashed towards the center of the eye of the wind. At this moment, the wind howled, the ice rain pounced, thunder raged, and lightning struck. The power of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning was unleashed to the limit. Just like this, the attack didn't hit the slightest part of Longfei's body, and he completely dodged it. The damage caused by the bombardment of these powers on Longfei's body was miss. It was as if he had gone mad. Both fists hit the ground. Rumble! Rumble! A violent explosion sound rang out. It came down from the 9th floor, layer after layer. Boom! 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 It blasted straight into the depths of the Magic Mountain. The entire plaza shook violently. It was a complete mess. What kind of power? Did that kid fight back? This power is too powerful. Did all 9 floors get destroyed? The ground beneath Magic Mountain is splitting apart. Holy sh*T. The purple-clothed old man's face was filled with excitement as he laughed like an idiot. My master is mighty. My master is domineering. I will kill those old freaks. Ha ha ha. The artifact demon's forehead tightened. Purple, red, could it be? He couldn't help but look at the old demon beast master and said, millions of years ago, 2 great devils, could it be? They're not dead yet. That's not right. If they didn't die, then they should have been 2 figures. But these 2 rays of demonic light were emitted from one body. What's going on? Chapter 25:10, Difficulty Leveling Up Again. Chapter 25:10, Difficulty Leveling Up Again. A simple sentence. If you don't make me feel good, I will make you die. Long Fei had seen the power of the 2 demons just now. The cultivation of these 2 boss-level demons was at least at the peak of the Zhenwu realm. He made a fierce comparison. Cluck, cluck, cluck. He clenched his fists. The joints exploded. The 2 demons simultaneously said, I wish for nothing more. Moreover, Long Fei was also quite unhappy in his heart, even more so than when he was at the 7th floor. He had almost been killed, and if he did not get his revenge, he would be unhappy for the rest of his life. Boom! In that instant, the 2 demons landed in front of Red Robe Ancestor. The Red Robe Ancestor's gaze tensed up and said solemnly, don't forget your identities. Could it be that you want to go against the magic tribe for a human? Could it be that you want to let a human pass the 10-story Devil Towers test? All of you are well aware of what the Trial of Spirit Realm 10-story Devil Tower means. The Red Robe Ancestors' eyes were blazing with fire. The 2 demons said at the same time, our identities? You have the nerve to say, our identities? Back then, it was your 4 great clans that wanted to expel us and force us to our deaths. Wasn't it just slapping the faces of your 4 great clans? This is how you are going to deal with it. So what if you're human? Back then, in order for us to be able to stay in the magic tribe and enter the 10-story Devil Tower however, have you thought about how we feel? Have you thought about the millions of years we spent in the Demon Pagoda with the seal? He saved us. He is our benefactor, much better than the 4 tribes you spoke of. What do the consequences mean? Ha ha ha. The fact that he could destroy the first 8 floors of the pagoda was sufficient proof of his ability. What's more, that the chosen one of the Devil Pagoda did not say that it would definitely be a magic tribe. It's the same for humans. Ah. And then the 2 demons both laughed out loud at the same time, and at the same time grabbed onto Red Robe Ancestor's neck and raised him up into the air. Buzz. An incomparably strong, imposing aura burst out and heavily crushed Red Robe Ancestor's body. Red Robe Ancestor was unable to move. His face was pale, and he said with difficulty, you will destroy Magic Tribe. You. Dual Demon said, either we destroy the Magic Tribe, or we want to kill you. Boom. The pressure was like thunder, like a powerful strike. It directly pierced through the Red Robe Ancestor's body. Just like a spear from the heavens, the spear was aimed at the heaven's lantern as it pierced through the mouth and burst out from the chrysanthemum flower. At this moment, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Red Robe Ancestor, for obtaining 100 million experience, 1 million true chi points, 50 arrogant god energy value points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Purple Blood Forbidden Saber. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Red Blood Forbidden Blade. Out of nowhere, 2 holy artifact blades appeared. The names of these 2 sabers. Long Fei moved his hands, taking out 2 forbidden blades, and said, "These are your weapons, right?" Upon seeing the blade, the 2 fiend gods immediately grew excited. At this moment, Long Fei's body slightly moved and directly shot out a red and purple spirit body, as if he was 2 different people. What made Long Fei a little surprised was these 2 spirit bodies were actually female. They knelt down on one knee and said, "Thank you, Master." Long Fei was slightly shocked. "All of you are women?" "Yes, Master." "It's not just women. Furthermore, twins. Apart from the color, they were exactly the same. They couldn't be separated at all." The Red Devil said, "We were originally 2 devil blades, but because we comprehended the magic tribe's forbidden devil arts, we turned into human forms. However, later on, we were too bloodthirsty and stubborn. We were suppressed by the 4 great tribes, and we were tricked into the demon towers. We have cultivated devilish arts all our lives, but we have yet to grasp the auxiliary method, which is why we were suppressed by the Devil Pagoda. The everlasting seal is inside. I didn't expect to be saved by Master. We sisters are extremely grateful. It was a bit sudden," Long Fei muttered. "Then just now, I was carried by 2 women." The 2 immediately said, "Master, we won't dare to do it again." Long Fei said, "Don't. I still need to go up when it's time. These 2 weapons should be your flesh and blood real face, right?" Purple Demon nodded. "Our human bodies have already been destroyed. Luckily, the body of the real face is still here, thanks to Master. If not for Master, we would only be 1 spirit body." He was extremely grateful. Long Fei said, "This is a kind of fate." "Fate? Bullshit." This was definitely a type of program design. Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? In any case, Long Fei did not believe it. The other parts hadn't dropped yet, but 2 forbidden knives just happened to have been dropped. And it also just so happened to be the original body of the 2 sisters. This was a bit too much. Of course, Long Fei could not say that these 2 blades were mine, right? And then Long Fei said, "Return to the blade." The 2 sisters said, "Understood, Master." At the same time, he also entered the blade. Long Fei didn't forget to remind her, "Work hard to cultivate, and get out of my body as soon as possible." "Yes, Master." Chapter 2511. Chapter 2511, he was completely unprepared. The difficulty of the quest had leveled up once again. Although it was only left with the last level, it was still the strongest level. If the difficulty were to be doubled once again, then just how strong would this boss be? It was unimaginable. Long Fei was very unhappy. "System, do you think that I have lived for too long, so if you want to kill me as soon as possible, you will be free? Is there such a thing as you?" The SSS level mission itself is already incredibly difficult, yet you've raised it twice. You're just trying to kill me. Long Fei grinned, feeling extremely unhappy. However, then, Long Fei's eyes flashed once more. If you level up again, wouldn't that mean that the reward would be doubled as well? If the 9th level goes up by 1 to 2 levels, will the 10th level go up by 4 levels? Level 4. Then I will take the 9th level Mahayana. If you only reward me after completing the overall mission, then Zhenwu Realm. Ha ha. Long Fei became excited. "Damn it, I'm going all out." Big rewards, big risks. At any time, risk and reward are proportional. One fight, and the bike becomes a motorbike. Long Fei's heart sank. He clenched his fists, looked at the stairs that led to the 10th floor, and exhaled a deep breath. He still did not go up. What's going on? Why is the light on the 10th floor different? Then what is it? Bloody light filled the sky. Why is that? The 10th floor has mutated again. Could it be that the difficulty level of the 10-story Devil Tower has increased again? No one entered. How could it improve again? The square was bustling with discussion. Everyone was stunned. The 10-story Devil Tower had its own independent rule. It could only enter one person at a time, and once more people entered, it would break its own rule. Demon suppressing pagoda. Difficulty increased. Now, he had leveled up once again, so why was this happening again? No one knew. The artifact demon said heavily, could he have broken the rules of the pagoda? The difficulty has been raised by 4 times. This. Look at the bloody light in the sky on the last level. It's never happened before. No way. The purple-robed elder began to panic a bit. I want to call Master out. I can't continue any further. If this goes on, he'll die. However, without waiting for the purple-clothed old man to step forward, a pair of steel wings soared into the sky and instantly landed on the 9th floor. Kai Lina! When Kai Lina saw the bloody light that filled the sky on the 10th floor, she immediately became worried. At this time, she didn't care about anything else as she directly flew to the top of the 9th floor's demon pagoda and shouted, Long Fei, come out! We can't continue any further. Hurry up and come out. I can't go up anymore. We can't go anymore. Hysterical shouts. There was no one in this world who could convince all 5 of them at the same time. The purple-clothed elder landed and said solemnly, Everyone, think of a way. There will definitely be a way. The weapon demon said, There is no way out for the 10-story Devil Tower. It would either die or walk forward. It can't retreat at all, even if we let it know that it can't go up to the 10th floor. The purple-robed elder went crazy and asked, Then what should we do? Do you want to see my master die? The square was in chaos. They had never seen the power of the 10th floor before. When Transformers was instantly sucked dry of their minds after rushing over, their minds slightly shivered. He's dead for sure. This kid is dead for sure. Sigh. I thought that someone would be able to break through the 10-story Devil Tower. It seems like that's it. Humans are not Magic Tribe after all, and so the difficulty has been raised twice. It is clear that the Demon Pagoda does not wish for a human to pass through. Humans are humans after all, so what's wrong with letting them pass through? That's true. Now we'll see how he dies. The strength of the first 10-story Devil Tower was too strong. Long Fei couldn't stop it. Suddenly, the purple-clothed elder grabbed the artifact demon and said, Didn't you say that the demon emperor entered the demon pagoda? Since he did not appear, is he on the 10th floor? If he was allowed to leave this place alive, then Magic Tribe would truly lose all face. Not to mention, he knew in his heart, once someone passed the 10-story Devil Tower's test, they would become the person chosen by the Demon Pagoda. At that time, Long Fei would become the ruler of the Magic Tribe. He would never allow such a thing to happen. The Demon Emperor's aura retracted and said, Master, isn't it better if someone can break through the 10-story Devil Tower? At least I can find out the secrets hidden in the Demon Pagoda. Didn't you always hope to return to the infernal realm? Right now, he is only missing one level. As long as he passes the test, he will become the chosen one of the Demon Pagoda. At that time, the secrets of the Demon Pagoda will be revealed. Isn't that your lifelong goal? The old man's voice sounded. Boom. He landed heavily outside of the light pillar boundary. The elder glared at the demon emperor and shouted, "No! 10-story Devil Tower exists for the magic tribe. Just like the magic mountain. They exist because of the magic tribe. How can the things of our magic tribe be trampled by humans? Naturally, disciples of magic tribe has to unravel the secrets of the magic tribe. Who is he?" The old man said harshly. The secret hidden within the 10-story Devil Tower was his lifetime of pursuit. However, even so, he would not let a human brat pass the test and become the chosen one of the demon pagoda. Furthermore, other than Long Fei, there was another person within the 10-story Devil Tower, suppressing the demons. He had already reached the 8th floor. As long as he killed Long Fei, he would become the chosen one of the demon pagoda. This way, he would be able to achieve his lifelong goal. As long as Long Fei dies, the face of the magic tribe could be saved. The secret of the demon pagoda could be solved. Everything was in the hands of their magic tribe. The demon emperor said, "For him to pass the 9th floor is sufficient proof of his strength. Master, he is truly extraordinary. Actually, it's because he's very special that I recommended him to enter the 10-story Devil Tower." The demon emperor had thought of this from the very beginning. However, what he did not expect was that the 10 tribes would take charge, and what he did not expect was that the demon pagoda would mutate twice and increase its difficulty twice. Now, there was only one floor left. The 10th floor. Not only was the tower guard in charge, but the demon pagoda itself was too strong. Long Fei was simply unable to pass. Even if it was the demon emperor himself, he didn't have absolute confidence he would be able to pass through. The old man laughed coldly. "You did very well. Rest assured, after he dies, the secrets of the demon pagoda will be unraveled, and our magic tribe will return to the demon world. Just wait and see." The old man had already made up his mind. The 10-story Devil Tower is known as the Magic Tribe. Even the strongest trial in the Zhenwu continent has not been passed by anyone. But if you can pass it, then. Zhao Chongshan's eyebrows tightened even more. He knew what passing the 10-story Devil Tower trial meant. He was the Zhao family's most powerful powerhouse, and also the Zhenwu continent at the peak of the Zhenwu continent. He knew secrets that many people did not know about. For example, 10-story Devil Tower. There were secret history records. Those who pass the 10-story Devil Tower trial will become the chosen one of the demon pagoda. They will be given a mission, and at the same time, they will be bestowed with a strong power. This power could be linked to the peak realm. Maybe he could summon a plane. The magic tribe on top of the Zhenwu continent itself came from another world. If that world was connected to the Zhenwu continent, then Zhao Chongshan squinted. At this moment, the door to the secret room was pushed open, and Zhao Wuji, who was dressed in dragon robes, walked in, exclaiming excitedly, "Father, Higher has broken through the Zhenwu realm." Zhao Chongshan slightly retracted his gaze, then faintly smiled and said, "Not bad. You did not disappoint my expectations." In just a few short months, Zhao Haotian's breakthrough was like flying. Of course, not for anything else, but because his lifeblood was destroyed, and he cultivated a cultivation technique that was unique to the Zhao family. This cultivation technique was able to unleash all of your potential and could be said to be incredibly fast in cultivation. Zhao Wuji said, "We've already found out who injured Higher. It's Yi Yorong from the Xianyu sect. Moreover, in another half a month, God's sect gathering will be married to her. This matter." Zhao Chongshan laughed coldly and said, Everything is going normally. There are people backing Xianyu sect. I want to see who exactly is backing Yurong up. I want to see who exactly is backing him up. And how dare you go against me? Zhao Wuji said, Are you going to tell Haier about this? With Haier's current body, if we were to get married, Zhao Chongshan's eyes turned sinister. And he said, The wedding will continue. Even if our Zhao family's members are crippled below, we will still need women. If Yurong destroyed Haier's body, then we will let Haier destroy her entire life. Zhao Wuji said, Your son understands. In another place, Xianyu's sect forbidden area, Yurong's master was also looking up at the sky. She also saw the red light that was spreading throughout the sky above Magic Tribe, and she thought to herself, It seems that someone in the Magic Tribe is going to pass the 10-story Devil Towers test. Is the chosen one of the Magic Tribe going to appear? A mere Magic Tribe. Even if a Sky Profound Realm cultivator appears, it would be useless. No matter how strong the devils are, they can't compare to our Ming clan. The old woman flashed a disdainful look. At this time, an old man walked forward and said, Supreme God, we were unable to find the whereabouts of that powerhouse. The old woman frowned. From the time he had released the super force of Ming clan to now, he had not detected the slightest bit of it. Could it be that the powerhouse had already left the Zhen Wu continent plane? The old woman said in a low voice, Keep looking. He will definitely reappear. He will definitely reappear. The super force of Ming clan is the power of the ancient inheritance of our Ming clan. Its appearance is definitely not by chance. He will definitely appear again. The old woman said with a heavy tone. The elder nodded. As you command. And then the elder continued, Supreme God, Yurong broke through the Mahayana realm. Based on my current speed, I should be able to make some more breakthroughs before God's sect gathering does. The old lady was not surprised at all, and said, Gifted soul of Underworld's talent should be like this. Moreover, I specially refined a dark energy pill for her. Her cultivation should be like this. After obtaining the royal qi of the Zhao family, her cultivation level will become even deeper. She will be able to step into the Emperor Zhenwu's realm and carry the banner of the Ming clan by the age of 100. The elder said, Yurong's cultivation is so fast that even without the help of the Zhao family's royal aura, she can still carry the banner and marry someone she doesn't like. Moreover, she's a eunuch. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, the old lady immediately cut him off. We cannot give up any power. Furthermore, the current Zhao family is not only a royal power, he is also an outer disciple of the gods' tribe. As a gifted soul of Underworld, she was born to prepare for the rise of the Ming clan. Her life is not her own, but Ming clan's. So what if I marry a eunuch? If it's possible, I want her to marry Zhao Chongshan even more so that he definitely has an even more powerful force on him. The old woman's eyes lit up. For her, Yurong was born for the Ming clan. In terms of the rise of the Ming clan, everything she had was not her own. This was fate, the life of the Dark Phoenix. Chapter 25:14. Too powerful. Chapter 25:14. Too powerful, many powerhouse watched from the air due to the natural changes. The peak Zhenwu continent were all looking in the direction of the Magic Tribe. Bloody light filled the sky, mutated. However, could the Magic Tribe's bloodlight take another step forward, enveloping the entire Zhenwu continent? That would depend on whether he could break through to the last layer. A long face stepped onto the 10th floor and was stunned by what he saw. The demon emperor was imprisoned by the boundary. An old man dressed in a purple-black robe looked at Long Fei coldly, his body unknowingly brimming with an incomparably powerful energy. Just as he stepped in, Long Fei felt an enormous pressure. Unwell. His heart trembled. His sea of consciousness was churning. Long Fei felt his mouth going dry. The elder took a step forward and indifferently said, "10th level, pass through the demonic world." Long Fei forcefully suppressed the chill in his heart and said, "How can it be considered as having passed?" The old man laughed. "It's simple. You pass the 10-story Devil Tower test, if you win against me." Long Fei's heart tightened. From the 1st floor to the 9th floor, there were no real battles. There were all kinds of support skills, and all of them were broken by the various secret world S. Fight with force. Long Fei's disadvantage was too big. No matter how strong the Mahayana realm was, it was impossible for it to be a match for the powerhouse. This was an unsurpassable realm. Long Fei exhaled a heavy breath, made a gesture, and said, "Please." The Demon Emperor immediately said, "Wait." The old man's eyes became sinister. Long Fei looked at the Demon Emperor. "Your cultivation is too weak. My master is a true Martial Peak realm, and he was just a hair away from entering the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. It is impossible for you to be his opponent." The elder laughed coldly. "There is no point in talking to him. He has no other choice. Either die or die. He has no choice but to die." Since it was already at the last layer, Long Fei had no way out. No matter what, he was dead. The Demon Emperor did not care what the old man said. Instead, he looked at Long Fei seriously and said, "You are not his opponent. Remember, you are not his opponent. This is the Demon Pagoda." "Demon Pagoda? He is the tower guard. Do you understand? He is a tower guard of the 10th floor. Do you understand?" The Demon Emperor's words confused Long Fei, making him unable to understand what he meant. However, since it was already at this step, and since it was 4 times the reward, even if he had to die, Long Fei would still give it a try. He nodded. "No matter what, I will fight." "Ha ha ha. Fight. You have a chance. You need capital, don't you? Brat, you aren't someone from the magic tribe. So, the 10-story Devil Tower cannot let you pass." The old man was incomparably cold and arrogant. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. "Capital? What is capital? I can go all the way to level 9. Is that considered capital?" Long Fei's anger flared up. He hated people who said things like capital, qualifications, and so on. Who in the magic tribe can do it? Can you? If I can't, then what does lousy count as capital? Long Fei stared at the old man and said fiercely. This caused the old man to lose a lot of face, made him feel as if Long Fei was ruthlessly slapping Magic Tribe on the face. Cluck, cluck. With a sinister look in his eyes, his joints exploded and streams of power surged towards Long Fei like a tide. The old man said sinisterly, "You dare to act so arrogantly in front of this old man? Humph, such an arrogant fellow." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei suddenly moved, and the power of the Mahayana realm erupted all at once. Shwa! His figure flashed like lightning. A fierce wind was kicked up beneath his feet, and he instantly appeared in front of the old man. The Mahayana realm? The Demon Emperor was shocked. Good boy, breaking through the arrogant form state to the Mahayana realm. Incredible! He couldn't help but praise the other party. However, the corners of the old man's mouth turned cold, and he coldly laughed. "So what if you have Mahayana realm? We still have to die." Without waiting for Long Fei's attack, the old man's body suddenly grew and instantly became a giant. In that moment, his right hand flipped. Rumble! An incomparably huge palm came crashing down, covering the entire area. It was as if the heavens were crushing down upon them. Boom! Walala! Space itself began to crack and shatter. Long Fei's reaction was also extremely fast. When he wanted to sneak an attack, He realized that his speed was far inferior to the old man's. He immediately moved his left arm. Sky fire. Rumble. His left arm was burning. The Ju-Kei sword was summoned too, and the flaming sword Qi burned. A sword pierced the heavens. Both of his legs sank as Long Fei rose up from the ground. With both hands tightly grasping the great sword, he thrust it straight at the huge palm. Come. F*CK. Rumble. The sword stabbed forward. In this kind of situation, no matter how strong the defense was, his palm would still be injured, since this was an incomparably sharp Ju-Kei sword after all. In that situation, even if the old man's hand could not be pierced through, he would still be injured. However, the instant the Ju-Kei sword stabbed his palm, a surge of power struck down. Long Fei's mind felt like it was about to be torn apart and was incomparably uncomfortable. Uffed, a mouthful of blood sprayed out, and an 18,000 damage floated up above Long Fei's head. F*CK. A third of his health point. It disappeared just like that. The attack hadn't even landed yet. It was just an attack from a powerful force. What kind of power was this? Long Fei's heart secretly tensed up, but at this time he did not dodge. He desperately tried to use all his strength to clash head-on, but he did not cower. That's it. Ah! I sneered. You overestimate your capabilities. Zhang Xian's palm fell. Rumble! 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 Streams of energy came crushing down, and streams of energy were frantically superimposing, continuously increasing in size and increasing in intensity. The huge palm gave Long Fei the feeling as if the sky was falling down. Long Fei gripped the sword hilt tightly. His body kept pressing down. The Ju-Kei sword was trembling, and the fire sword aura above it was flashing, as if it could extinguish at any moment. The power was simply too great. The power of the Zhenwu realm was too strong. Long Fei's divine weapon was useless. The level of this realm limited everything. No matter how strong the Ju-Kei sword was, it could not stop it. Boom, boom. Long Fei was unceasingly being suppressed by the powerful explosion of energy, but even so, he did not loosen his grip. Looking at the ground, his heart sank. Let me see how hard your palm is. His body fell down. He landed on the ground with incomparable speed. Ju-Kei sword S, sword tip pointing upwards. Long Fei poured in his true essence. The veins on his forehead bulged, and he said solemnly, "Come." It was like a nail. However, the old man's huge palm did not care at all as it slammed down heavily. Buzz. The Ju-Kei sword bent. The place the Princess San Moon was repairing started to crack. Kacha, kacha. The rift was expanding. Half a second. Bam! The blade was broken. At this time, the remaining half of the Ju-Kei sword also heavily smashed down with its huge palm. Long Fei's eyes tensed up. The idea moved. Second level Ghost King. Open! The second level Ghost King moved. His figure disappeared. He instantly leaped into the air and chopped down with his palm at the old man, who had turned into a giant. He was the Ghost Emperor. Moreover, he was not an ordinary Ghost Emperor, although it was only at the second rank, but he was still as strong as ever. But the old man did not even look at the Ghost Emperor, but sneered and said, "It's useless, it's useless. Anything you summon is useless to me." Boom. The Ghost Emperor struck out with his palm, but the old man didn't even move. A scarlet English letter floated above the old man's head. Mitz. Impossible. Long Fei's heart sank. How is that possible? The second level Ghost King was comparable to the powerhouse S of the Zhenwu realm, even if the old man was a true Marshall Peak realm. But He shouldn't be unable to deal even a little bit of damage. No reason, the demon emperor said solemnly. Long Fei, he said just now, this plane is completely under his control. If he can crush you, the demon tower can crush everything you summon. Kid, this is the demon pagoda. Demon pagoda, do you understand? He kept saying it, especially the word demon tower. Long Fei repeated himself. Is this the demon tower? The first 10-story devil tower? One floor, one world. The 10th floor, 4 times the difficulty. Tower guard controls everything, just like a plane with its own laws. The ghost emperor's power has weakened because of me. Looking at the demonic flame burning in the sky, the old man had a fierce expression on his face as he flipped his right palm. Ha ha ha. Devil's flames scorched the sky. It came crashing down. The old man laughed maniacally. Brat, you won't pass here. The demon emperor's eyes tightened. Why don't you understand? This is the demon pagoda. The demon pagoda. Not the world that he controls, but the world that controls him. As the demon emperor saw this, his heart rose to his throat. His hands grasped that blood-red light again, and the power of the true martial emperor once again burst forth. But the red beam of light did not move. He could not break free at all. Be careful! The demon emperor roared. Seeing the burning heaven demon fire being pressed down heavily, Long Fei's expression tensed up. In that instant, purple blood-forbidden saber and demon blood-forbidden saber flew out. Buzz. The 2 demons entered his body. Boom. Half was purple, while the other half was blood-red. And, at this moment, Long Fei held the 2 forbidden blade in his hand. Staring at the sky full of demonic flames, he shouted with dual demonic voice, Power of taboos! 1,000 devils, slash! Boom! The 2 blades combined to form a huge purplish-red forbidden blade. The demon emperor's eyes sank. Purple, red dual demon? The old man was also secretly shocked. You 2 sisters are still alive? Eating external things to help a human? Then you all can go die together. Rumble! The demonic flames rolled down even more. Long Fei's heart sank and said, Can you too? If not, you should retreat. Sure, the 2 sisters said at the same time. Moreover, at this moment, the power of taboos was released, the forbidden blade merged, and Long Fei's body moved, true essence gushed out. At this moment, the power in his body crazily surged. 1,000 devils, slash. It furiously slashed down towards the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, the blade chi was like a demon crazily roaring in the air. Streams of blade chi rushed into the burning heaven devil flame, and the power of that kind of forbidden blade completely exploded. The speed at which the demonic flame was descending stopped. The devil fire was also decreasing crazily. However, the old man's eyes turned sinister as he grabbed at the air. He grabbed an incomparably powerful force and instantly blasted it into the devil fire. He coldly shouted, You're courting death. Boom. On Long Fei's body, the 2 fiends were instantly forced out of their bodies, and their 2 forbidden blades fell to the ground. He couldn't bear it. The power was simply too great. Master, he can use the power of the pagoda. We are no match for him. Long Fei did not say much and directly accepted them into his space ring. He looked at the old man and muttered, No wonder the demon emperor kept on talking about the demon pagoda. So that's how it is. The old man laughed. Kid, what else do you have? Long Fei rubbed the bridge of his nose, looked around, and said, I still have another big move. Immediately, the idea moved and rushed into the Ming clan's mark. The heaven flame moved. The super force of Ming clan also followed along. Long Fei roared out loudly, Fuse! Chapter 25:16. Hellfire. Chapter 25:16. Hellfire. Fuse. Long Fei roared. Then, with his left arm still on fire, Long Fei moved his fingers. Boom! The flames exploded. Big Fire Ring seemed like a giant fireball as it burst out, illuminating the entire 10-story Devil Tower. However, the fireball was huge, but its power was, to the purple-robed old man, this was an act of disdain. The old man sneered. This power? This is your so-called great move. Ha ha ha. Kid, the Sand Moon Tribe's heaven flames are indeed not bad, but they are used for forging artifacts and not for killing. With your strength. Trash. Trash. The old man despised these two words, garbage. To the powerhouse of the Zhenwu Peak realm, the power of the heavenly fire was indeed not enough. However, Long Fei's big move was not only sky fire. Trash? What about now? Suddenly, Long Fei let out a heavy roar, and the Ming clan imprint in his arm suddenly released a ray of netherworld power. Boom! The power of Nether crazily surged out of the space, and the flames instantly turned an eerie blue color, just like the hellfire. It also merged with the big fire ring in the blink of an eye. The flames of the big fire ring turned from a fiery red to a ghostly blue. At this moment, the super force of Ming clan and the heavenly fire were perfectly fused together. The entire space of the Demon Tower was shrouded in this eerie blue light. The old man's expression became tense, and his forehead sunk. Hellfire! The Demon Emperor was also shocked. Good boy, you still have powerful strength. The first 10-story Devil Tower shot out a burst of eerie blue light. All of a sudden, it collided with the blood light in the sky, forming a scene that looked like an aurora. All of the powerhouse on top of the Zhenwu continent felt a huge impact. And, as forbidden area, the old granny of the supreme god was instantly pulled out of the ground, and in almost an instant, she rushed out, standing in the air, looking in the direction of the magic tribe, her heart and mind extremely excited. Super force of Ming clan. I feel it. It's the super force of Ming clan. It's appeared again. I didn't expect it to be in the magic tribe. No wonder I couldn't find it. Ha ha ha. The supreme god old lady laughed out loud. Immediately send someone to magic tribe to find this lord. Regardless of the cost, we have to bring him back. He's our Ming clan's savior. Whoever is able to unleash the super force of Ming clan must have the ancient inheritance, and may even be the reincarnation of Pluto. We must definitely find him. The old woman looked incredibly excited. His body was trembling nonstop. It may not matter to others, but to her, the super force of Ming clan was too important, too important. The descendants of the Ming clan S, although they trained in Ming clan techniques, they still... The old man also cried out in pain. True essence crazily gushed out from his body. But his true essence gushed out, and his entire body burned with an even greater power. In an instant, he turned into a giant flaming person. Long Fei grinned and laughed. I forgot to tell you, this flame is burning even more fiercely the more it resists. Ha ha. F asterisk CK. Still trash. F asterisk CK. Long Fei glared furiously from within the flames. He was breathing heavily, and it was very uncomfortable. Looking at the old man frantically struggling within the flames, he looked at the string of bright red damage floating above his head, one after another. 193,842 inch, 211,022, 128372. Long Fei was wild with excitement. Burn your dog to death. Who's the trash now? The first 10-story Devil Tower? Lousy will do the same to him as well. He let out a heavy breath of air. His heart was feeling very comfortable, and the amount of blood on the old man's head was about to be depleted. No one could withstand the devouring power of the hellfire. Its power was too strong. In order to fuse it, Long Fei had to put in too much effort as well. There were several times where he had almost been devoured. Now, it was finally going to explode. The demon emperor within the red beam was not affected by the hellfire. Seeing the old man retreating and crying out in pain, the space between his eyebrows tightened. He wanted Long Fei to stop, but he knew that the 10-story Devil Towers test would not stop until one side died. Either you die, or I die. At this moment, he still endured. Magic Tribe didn't really care about life and death. Moreover, the Demon Emperor had an ominous premonition that the tower guard in the 10th floor wouldn't be defeated that easily. At this moment, the old man only had a little bit of HP left. Long Fei was extremely excited. Explode! Explode for me! Chapter 25:17 Resurrection of the Boss. Chapter 25:17 Resurrection of the Boss. There were only a few thousand points of blood left. Once burned, it would die. It's about to explode. Long Fei was excited. At the same time, he was also grinning from ear to ear. Give me a few holy artifact, and I'll give you a reward for completing the mission. Then I'll level up 4 times in a row. Ha ha ha. It's all so good, Long Fei thought. But at the last moment, the old man, who was struggling in pain and wailing in pain, suddenly stopped as he stood there steadily. A wave of demonic flame surged out and engulfed him. At this moment, the demonic flame turned into a vortex and directly wrapped around the old man. It disappeared. At the same time, the netherworld flame that Long Fei had released was also crushed by an extremely strong energy, disappearing without a trace. The entire space in the pagoda returned to peace. It was as if nothing had happened. The hellfire disappeared. The demonic flame vanished. It suddenly became as calm as the abyss, so quiet that it made people panic. Long Fei frowned. What's going on? He was waiting for the system beep to rise. A boss could not be dropped. It could not have any experience, but there had to be a reward. Otherwise, it would be a huge loss. However, for the past half a minute, the system beep did not make a sound. At this moment, Long Fei realized that he had not completed the mission yet. The tower guard on the 10th floor hadn't died yet, so he still hadn't passed this stage. At this moment, Long Fei tensed up and immediately became alert. What's going on? What's the situation? Is the test over? There's no light on the 10th floor, is there? He failed. That goes without saying. He will definitely fail. 4 times the difficulty is the protection of the 4 great tribes' most powerful powerhouse. No matter how strong that human kid is, he won't be able to pass. He is only an arrogant form state. It is already quite impressive for him to be able to step onto the 10th floor. Is it over? Seeing the 10-story Devil Tower S return to silence without any light, everyone's heart turned cold, even though they didn't see the scene in the pagoda. However, it had to be said that Long Fei had brought them a visual feast, that kind of hair-raising feeling. In the hearts of many Magic Tribe S, Long Fei was worthy of respect and had to be respected because Long Fei had created the history of the Magic Tribe. Even if they stopped now, that would not stop them from respecting Long Fei. This was the case for Magic Tribe. Their faith was power, the powerhouse. Is it over? The purple-clothed old man's heart thumped, his eyes sank, and muttered, "Master, you can't die. You still haven't taught me how to use my alchemy." You can't die. The artifact demon patted the shoulder of the purple-clothed old man and lightly shook his head. He is a magic tribe. Maybe it's the demon pagoda that doesn't want to choose him. Sigh. What a pity, Puppet Demon Captain replied. I have never seen anyone as versatile as him. I suspect that he only knows how to give birth to children, but looking at the 10-story Devil Tower, they were all tower guardess and knew very well that their powers were not even 1/10,000th of the tower's. Even if they passed, the tower would not agree to it, and even the strongest people would not be able to pass the test. The purple-clothed old man was incomparably downcast. However, Kai Lina disregarded everything and rushed towards the sky as he shouted loudly, "Long Fei!" Transformers was the same. Even if his body was sucked dry again, he would still rush up and pull himself out of the ground. His entire body went berserk again as he heavily roared, "Boss!" Princess Sandmoon's tears fell like rain. Seeing the 10-story Devil Tower crying, she fell down and sat on the ground. It's over. The challenge is over. We still lost. The one he lost wasn't Tower Guard, but himself, the blood vein, and his identity. If he was someone from Magic Tribe, then this probably wouldn't be the result. The Demon Pagoda is, after all, a sacred artifact of our Magic Tribe. Why would it choose an outsider to become the chosen one? Sigh. Many people around the square slowly stood up, about to leave the stands. To them, everything was over. The Demon Pagoda was about to return to the Magic Mountain and wait for the next challenger. At this moment, the purple-clothed old man suddenly grabbed onto the Devil King's collar and asked, "Where's the Demon Emperor?" The armored demon was startled and said, I don't know either." The purple-clothed old man said, "Didn't you say that the Demon Emperor would ensure the safety of my master? Where is he now? Find him for me. I want him to return my master's life." The weapon demon said with a wry smile, "Pill demon, face the reality." Beast Master Old Demon said, "That's right. If the test is over, then how come the Demon Emperor still hasn't come out? Moreover, why hasn't the Demon Pagoda descended yet? What happened?" Once the previous test was over, the Demon Pagoda would immediately descend back into the body of the Magic Mountain. But this time, why did he not move for such a long time? Blocked? Or the challenge wasn't over? The purple-clothed old man's eyes shook. He looked at the 10-story Devil Tower. His eyes revealed a trace of hope, and said, "It's not over." Right, it's not over yet. The sound gradually grew louder. Everyone in the plaza was shocked. It's not over yet. The inside of the first 10-story Devil Tower has regained its calm, and there's no light at all. How could it not have ended? If it ends, the Magic Tower should return to its original position, but it has not gone down yet. Is the test still continuing? Definitely. Still looking. Ha ha ha. Brat, you can do it. Go for it. Go for it. Suddenly, almost everyone present shouted out the word, "Go for it," because Long Fei had given them a shock they had never felt before. Even if Long Fei wasn't Magic Tribe, they would still be willing to cheer for him, because Long Fei had created history, from disdain, ridicule, to admiration now. Transformers and Kai Lina were especially touched as they also roared loudly, "Boss, do your best." One voice after another roared out. It was like a shockwave piercing through many things. For example, the sonic barrier of the Demon Tower. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Long Fei was startled. He looked outside the Demon Tower and muttered, "Who are these people cheering for?" The Demon Emperor said, "For you." Long Fei was secretly shocked.
and said, "I destroyed the Meng family, killed the magic tribe's elder. They should be wishing for my death. Why would they cheer for me?" The demon emperor laughed. "Because we are the magic tribe." Magic tribe? Long Fei was slightly startled. His heart was filled with gratitude. However, at this moment, the pagoda seemed to be enraged. Boom, boom, boom. Waves of energy shot out like roars. The old man's voice rang out again. The people outside the tower roared like thunder. "You waste! All of you must die!" Buzz! With that, his massive body dashed out once more, and the blood on his head was filled to the brim. Resurrection. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.